At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the San Francisco Giants. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. By the Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid, go beyond utility. By Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. By Citi, proud partner of the New York Mets. And by Time Warner Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better with Time Warner Cable. Call 1-855-WANT-TWC today. Well, just because they call it Sunday doesn't mean it has to be a sun day. Little rain has to fall every now and again. That doesn't mean there can't be baseball. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you today as the Mets go for the sweep of the Giants as they look for their 9th straight win. One of the reasons the Mets have had so much success, the 3 and 4 hitters. Michael Conforto and Yoenis Cespedes have settled into that role, and they've been like a double shot of vitamin C.
Gary, I love the slant that you put on it, a little vitamin C, and that's what it has been. A historic month for these two hitters. When you look at Cespedes, 7 home runs, 23 RBIs, he's primed for a monster year. And Conforto, since he's been put in that 3rd slot, the Mets are 12-2, and he has just not stopped hitting, making adjustments within game, showing power, 6 straight games with doubles. It just goes on and on for the middle of the Mets lineup.
And despite the fact the Giants are throwing a quality left-hander today, Conforto's so hot, he will stay in the lineup today. The Mets will throw Noah Syndergaard on an historic strikeout pace.
Yeah, the real battle is going to be that historic strikeout pace and going against the San Francisco Giant team that does not strike out. It'll be a great battle and a great one to watch this afternoon.
And on the other side for the Giants, their ace left-hander Madison Bumgarner, who hopes to provide some stability after 2 rough starts in the Giants rotation.
And isn't that what he usually does for this Giant team, provide them with stability? He's even better here at Citi Field, where he's 3-0 ERA, under 1 in his career.
Mets have not been able to touch Bumgarner in the past. They'll try and do it amidst the raindrops at Citi Field today. Game will start on time. Mets and Giants, all the action on SNY. Season, play the New York Lottery Baseball Bingo for a chance to win daily scratch-off tickets or a trip to a 2017 Mets spring training game. For more details, go to sny.tv/baseball bingo. Get out there and play. Get to Citi Field Saturday, May 21st to watch the Mets battle the Milwaukee Brewers at 4:10. First 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Mets bucket hat, courtesy of Coca-Cola. Closed captioning for Mets baseball brought to you by Sideline. Today's Twisted but True Fact brought to you by Twisted Tea, the hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. The month just passed, the first month in Major League history in which there were an average of more than 16 strikeouts per game. Not surprising in that each of the last 26 months in baseball, those have been the 26 highest strikeout months in Major League history.
I pitched in the wrong part of my career, I'm telling you.
We need to retrofit your pitching line and add some Ks. Syndergaard knows all about the Ks. He'll try and get him in the rain today. His first pitch is coming right up. Marquee matchup indeed. One of the best lefties in baseball against the rising pitching star in the game. Madison Bumgarner and Noah Syndergaard go head to head this afternoon. Mets were in their retro '86 uniforms, complete with racing strap. I think the racing strap went very good with that little girl's tie-dye shirt.
I don't know if it looks as good on these guys because they wear their uniforms a lot looser than in the day.
Mets and their young fans getting to know each other. Here's the Giants starting lineup as they try to avoid the sweep this afternoon. And Bruce Bochy will go with the same lineup that he used yesterday, and again he'll hit his pitcher ninth, which is interesting because Bumgarner's one of the best hitting pitchers in baseball.
Well, maybe because Pagan is hitting in the second hole. He's their ninth place hitter when the pitcher hits eighth. It's going to be a great test to watch today, guys. Syndergaard off to this torrid pace and striking out hitters. Giants don't strike out. And the second thing is the Giants have Span, Pagan, Pence, Tomlinson, 4 guys who can run in the lineup. Let's see how apart the stolen base plays in this game.
Syndergaard gave up 5 steals against the Reds in his last start on Monday.
Well, the defense for the Mets, brought to you by Lexus, has Conforto, Cespedes. Lagares gets his first start this year in right field. David Wright, Flores, Walker, and Campbell. That's his first start ever at first base with Plawecki behind the plate. Lagares had some starts in 2013 in right field.
Well, the thought process for Terry Collins is he doesn't really want to mess with Conforto or Cespedes right now and play them in right field on the days Granderson has off. Lagares is comfortable enough over there, and even though he's not in his best position and neither is Cespedes, he'll live with this for the odd day when Granderson's out of the lineup.
There's Campbell, first start at first base. You know, it's interesting to take ground balls and to start a game are 2 different things as Terry Collins tries to stretch his hat.
Well, we saw Wilmer Flores make that transition, play a couple of games at first base, and looked okay over there.
He looked great, made a couple of mistakes as the last game he played there. Wilmer at shortstop today had a little trouble throwing the baseball in yesterday's game from third.
First game that Asdrubal Cabrera has not started this year. That leaves Neil Walker as the only Met to start every game. Denard Span will lead things off for the Giants. The latest weather forecast is that the rain is supposed to ease up over the next couple of hours and provide enough window to play. I think they could have waited for the rain to stop, but then they might not have had a window of 3 hours to get the game in. So it's a little uncomfortable for the fans. It's cold and windy and raining, but baseball about to be played. First pitch of the day from Syndergaard is a fastball outside at 98, and we're underway. Span 2 for 7 in the series. He's also drawn 3 walks, .358 on base percentage. He is still unleashing himself coming back from hip surgery. And Span takes a fastball for a strike. Span, in his own words, was a little tentative early in the year on the bases, in the field, but now he's confident enough in that repaired hip that he's more like himself.
I would not be surprised if some point in this game that Span tries to bring a bunt with him. You have a wet ground, you have a new first baseman, a lot of things working to his advantage on trying to bunt.
Angel Pagan on deck, Matt Duffy to follow, and Span fouls off the fastball 2-2. Noah Syndergaard, his last start against the Reds, not quite as dominant as he was the previous time out against the Phillies when he was just firing bullets going consistently over 100 miles an hour. But he did strike out 9 in 6 2/3. Got charged with 3 runs, one of which scored after he left the game. No decision game for Noah, and he strikes out Span to start the afternoon.
Well, there's the first answer I was looking for. Fastball up right by Span, 4-seamer. So that ball almost carries to the glove. It almost looks like it rises as it gets to the plate and over the bat of Span.
But that's a physical impossibility.
That's right, but I can still bring it up. Ask the hitters.
Here's Angel Pagan. Angel 2 for 9 in this series at a home run for the Giants' only run on Friday night as the Mets won 13-1. Mets squeaked out a 6-5 victory yesterday. 8 straight wins now for the Mets, 13 of their last 15. And they started this homestand 5-0. They've got the Braves coming in tomorrow night. Pagan thinks about a bunt and takes a strike. Nothing but fastball so far from Syndergaard.
Rainy day. Syndergaard saying, let's keep it pretty simple, at least in the first.
Angel Pagan likes to hit in this ballpark, and breaking ball is fouled off. Since this ballpark opened in 2009, only 2 Mets who've had over 400 at-bats here have hit over 300. Jose Reyes and Angel Pagan.
Angel right on that number, right?
Syndergaard bounces the curveball, and it's 1-2.
Fastball, changeup, and slider. 3 different pitches to Pagan in the first 3.
Syndergaard going with the mock turtleneck, not quite the Ron Darling World Series look.
Tired look for my part.
I think it's the first time we've seen Syndergaard decked out in this gear.
How weird is the game? Matt came through yesterday, and his fastball usually was around 90. Syndergaard's changeup is 90. And it just doesn't. Seems like the world's upside down.
Nobody in the game throws harder than Syndergaard among starting pitchers. Darts the fastball outside. It's 3-2.
Rainy, big ballpark, cold. Just want to run a fastball away, and you hope Angel hits it in the air.
So far this year, Syndergaard has walked 4 and struck out 39. Pagan lifts one foul. And that's all of a piece of what he's done in his brief career. First 28 starts in his career. He has over 200 strikeouts and fewer than 50 walks. He's the only pitcher in Major League history to start his career with that many strikeouts and that few walks through his first 28 starts.
You just don't do that at this young of an age, but he has.
He does walk Pagan, though, and so the Giants have a one-out base runner.
Interesting call, the 3-2 changeup to Pagan, maybe a little extra fancy. Don't really need that against Pagan early in the game.
So we've got the first base runner of the game for the Giants, and we'll see how aggressive they are against Syndergaard and how much the wet track might slow down their running game today. Because you know they came into the day with a scouting report against Syndergaard thinking that they could run.
You definitely can run. I think if you're Noah, you want to pay attention, but not pay too much attention. I thought he diverted some of his attention in the last game against the Reds.
Now Duffy hits one over the mound behind the bag. Flores with the step and fire for the double play. Side retired. One pitch. Syndergaard gets the ground ball, and Flores starts the 6-6-3 double play. Mets come to bat in the bottom of the first with no score. Here's your Geico Mets starting lineup today. A little different look. Juan Lagares leads off for the first time this year. Eric Campbell gets his first start of the season. But Conforto stays in the 3-hole against the left-hander. And it is not just any left-hander. It is the esteemed Mr. Bumgarner.
Coming off consecutive 18-win seasons, the Toyota numbers so far. A little pedestrian for him, but he's like a locomotive. Once he gets going, he starts churning out the victories. And defensively behind Madison this afternoon for the Giants, brought to you by Coors Light. Pagan, Span, Pence, that's the first 2 games of the series. Same in the outfield. Infield with Panic with the groin injury. Tomlinson has played the last couple of games. And Buster Posey behind the plate. Buster's been a little down, especially on the road. And if you're the Mets, you're just hoping one more day.
Yep. So here's Lagares leading off for the first time this season, 63rd time in his career. He's a .299 on base percentage hitter at the top of the batting order in his career. And Bumgarner's first pitch misses in for ball one. Bumgarner's fastball's been a little down this year. Last year averaged a shade over 92 miles an hour. This year 90.5.
He's got a lot of innings on that young left arm.
Well, he's won 87 games in his career, but he forever cemented himself into Major League history with his postseason performance 2 years ago.
With the way the format is now, maybe the greatest ever in this format.
Well, consider this. He was the MVP of the League Championship Series. He was the MVP of the World Series. He worked 52 2/3 innings in the postseason and pitched to a 1.03 ERA.
And just 5 innings of relief in Game 7. I mean, he will be talked about in Giants fans 100 years from now. When they have another young lefty up, they'll say, remember that Bumgarner? Maybe he can be as good as him someday.
Well, to me, what was especially impressive, here's the 2-2 to Lagares, is the way he came back last year, right? After all those extra innings in the postseason, he didn't give any quarter. He still pitched another 218 innings last year, won 18 games, ERA under 3, and he had the best whip of his career.
He has the perfect demeanor for a starting pitcher. He doesn't get too high when he throws a shutout against you. Doesn't get too low when you get to him once or twice a season.
David Wright waiting on deck. Lagares chases one and fouls it off.
You know, people at home, you say, well, he only throws 92. What makes him so tough? Well, he's got this wingspan, and when you're a hitter, all you see is his back till the very last minute. And he pitches up and down as well as anyone in baseball and inside to the righties. No fear.
There's a good cutter that he runs in against the right-hand hitters. Runs a full count to Lagares.
See this motion. You'll almost see his entire number. You do. And most of his name.
Three-two coming. And Lagares lines into left field, and that's down for a base hit. Pagan able to flag it down, and that'll hold Lagares to a single. So while Lagares continues his hot hitting, particularly against the lefties.
Well, Lagares last year on August 1st put on the bench. Really, he's a platoon player. Hit 287 the rest of the way. Hit almost 350 in the postseason. And trying to find some at-bats here early in the season. Now we're in May. Cutter in, didn't get in.
He left that ball right on the outer part of the plate. And Lagares now 6 for 13 against left-handed pitching. Here's David Wright, who had the day off yesterday. David 1 for 3 in the series. Mets have not seen many lefties early in the season. Only the third left-hand starter they faced in the first 23 games.
David sat out yesterday because he wanted to be ready for Bumgarner today.
2 for 9 in his career against this lefty who has given the Mets fits. 4 career starts for Bumgarner against the Mets, and they haven't touched him. And the 3 starts he's made at Citi Field, a 0.78 ERA, including a 2-hit shutout the last time he pitched here 2 years ago. Mets have been getting off to fast starts in games, trying to figure out a way against Bumgarner. 1-2 to David.
Big swing by David there.
Michael Conforto in the lineup against the lefty, and what has become his accustomed third hole waiting on deck.
Let's see if Bumgarner throws a fastball up here after throwing one by David. No, cutter away.
And he gets it in for a call third strike, and that's the first out. So David's strikeouts continue to mount. That's 30 through 73 at bats.
It's almost like he throws that ball from the first base bag because he has such great arm length on that cutter. Seems like it never comes over the plate till the last second.
So here is Conforto, who's just as hot as can be right now. He's up to 5th in the National League in both on-base percentage and slugging percentage. He's been on base 17 straight games. He has doubles in the last 6 games, which ties the Mets club record. And Terry Collins really didn't have to give it much of a second thought today as to whether to put Michael in the lineup today against a tough lefty. He's had 12 at bats against left-hand pitching so far this year, 3 for 12. And he lays off the curveball, 1-1. Throw down to first, and Lagares able to get back. Today's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Michael Conforto tying a Mets club record for doubles in the month of April.
And in 6 straight games. Ties a franchise record.
April was kind to the Mets after a 2-5 start. They finished the month 15-7. 15 wins in April for the 3rd straight year. Grounded foul. It's the first time that's happened in Mets history. 3 straight 15-win Aprils. Best percentage the Mets ever had in April was in 1986. They were 13-3. 15-7, the 3rd highest behind that, and 1988. The Ducks celebrating the duck-like weather today. Strike 3 called. Fastball gets Conforto looking, so back-to-back strikeouts for Bumgarner. 2 out.
See, the difficult part about Bumgarner, that arm angle we were talking about, that ball seems like it starts about 3 feet behind you and then dots the outside corner.
So 2 out, and now Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes 0 for 4 yesterday after his huge inning on Friday night. The Mets' huge inning. He owned half of it.
I don't hear you say that very often. The huge inning he had Friday night.
Well, not too many guys have huge innings, right?
He and Keith had the best night that night.
Well, Keith only worked 3 innings. It was a little longer than he expected.
That was an Elvis left the building kind of moment for us here in the booth.
Well, it's just he could never leave. We told him he could leave after the 3rd, and the 3rd almost never ended. By the way, I heard from Keith today. He's feeling much better.
Okay, good.
Singing the praises of antibiotics. Knowing Keith the way I do, I would think that right now he's buying stock in a drug company.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't think it's that severe, but I know he's doing better.
Could be on the beach, though.
That's probably true, but how did he reach his drink? Cespedes with his big cut, 2-1.
You know the whole scene where the guy gets fed the grapes.
Right.
I think Keith has that kind of life. There'll be someone handing him his margarita.
At least one. Cespedes starts the day 4th in the National League in slugging percentage, and he screws himself into the ground.
Well, we can see what Bumgarner's plan is just soft away and out of the strike zone, and he's going to rush him inside. That ball he fouled, what, off his kneecap? Or
the inside of that left knee, just below it. Well, he's already bruised on his right leg. Now he'll be a little more balanced.
Yeah, he's going to, I mean, if you play every day, you're going to be nicked up. These guys are tough.
Sat for the better part of a week after re-aggravating the bruise on his right leg. Lagares at first with 2 out, 2-2 to Cespedes. And Bumgarner runs one well inside, 3-2.
Exactly what you thought Bumgarner would do. After he fouled that ball off, he came right back in there. That's the kind of competitor he is. Now you might see that changeup away.
Neil Walker would be next.
Staying with the fastball.
Lagares gets set to run. And Cespedes takes ball 4. And the Mets have 2 men on.
There's Dave Righetti, the pitching coach, with a grimace. He's seen bad couple of days here for his starting pitchers.
This has really been a trend for the Mets for the better part of 3 weeks now, running up opposing pitchers' pitch counts early in the game. Even when they haven't scored early in the game, they have made the other starter work hard.
It's like routine for the opposing pitcher to have 20+ pitches in the first inning.
So now Neil Walker, who tied the Mets club record with 9 home runs in the month of April, including 3 as a right-hand batter, equaling his total from the previous 5 years. And the backdoor cutter misses for ball 1.
Here's the arm angle for Bumgarner. More 3/4 from the side on the outside of the baseball, and Syndergaard more over the top and right on top of the baseball. There's the difference in the kind of movement they get, where their hand is located and where their arm slot is. 2 different things.
Walker pops one up. In comes Pence to call. And that retires the side. So Bumgarner able to work around a couple of base runners in the first. Syndergaard back to the mound for the second with no score. Follow Mets Baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. Buster Posey leads off the second, takes a fastball for a strike. Posey 2 for 5 in this series. He started all 3 games in part because Bruce Bochy was able to get him out of there early Friday night to save him a few innings in a lopsided game.
I love that look on Buster Posey's face when the pitch is right on the corner. It's almost like right now he's perplexed that he goes up there with the right plan, and these Mets pitchers so far have made some really good pitches in this series against him.
Tries to take one the other way and fouls it off. 1-2. When the Giants rallied last night in the 8th inning, Posey was right in the middle of that. An opposite field hit against Addison Reed. Giants came within a couple of millimeters on the bat of taking the lead in that 8th inning. 2 sacrifice flies that were extremely well struck.
I know there's a lot of players that talk a lot more than Buster Posey, but if you love this game and you love watching it, he's on your top 5 list of how he goes about playing every day.
Check swing, and he stopped it in time. How many changeups did you throw to a right-hand batter in your career?
None. How about that? But split fingers serve the same purpose. So, but you were told not to in the day.
Grounded down to third. David Wright handles it, and the sidearm toss off the bag. Campbell to put the tag on Posey. Well, we've seen a lot of throws off the mark from third base the last few days.
David's arm strength isn't what it once was, and Wilmer, with not a lot of playing time, was off yesterday. When you throw the ball 3/4, you have to start the throw on the outfield side of first base because it's going to have some curve in it, like it did there.
No problem there because Posey doesn't run very fast. Now David moves over to the right side of the field in the shift against Brandon Belt. Belt 1 for 4 in this series, has also drawn 4 walks and driven in a run.
Flores has to stay in his position there because Belt will be one of those left-handers that will bunt if you give it to him.
We've seen him threaten that on a couple of occasions this weekend. Hunter Pence waits on deck. Giants a game under 500 for the season. There's a strike on the inside, 1-2. That 12-13 record, though, ties them for first place in the National League West. The Dodgers have lost 6 in a row, also 12-13, and Colorado's 11-12. 1-2 coming, and he strikes him out with a fastball. Syndergaard's second strikeout of the day, 2 down.
Well, a nice sequence of pitches, change up away, and then came back with 2 fastballs in. One at the knees, and here, one at the thigh. Just throws too hard in there. It's hard to get around.
It's not at his max velocity today, but 97, 98 is good enough.
Yeah.
The average fastball velocity for Syndergaard so far this year has been 98.2. Hunter Pence fouls one.
Now, for all you fans at home, this is all relative, but the speed gun gets the speed of the pitch as soon as it leaves your hand. That will be the fastest it'll ever go. Just gravitational pull will make sure that at some point it's a fastball, even by Syndergaard, will 92, 93 by the time it gets to the plate. Again, it's all relative. The guy who throws 95, it might be 90 to 89 by the time it crosses the plate.
Do you think certain pitchers' velocity maintains in the 60 feet better than others?
Absolutely. Some guys have better carry on it, which means it'll stay closer to the mark that it leaves your hand.
Pence goes after the slider and misses, 1-2. That's that slider that Syndergaard has developed and has become such a weapon for him.
Well, we saw it in his first 2 starts, unhittable, and that's one of those today. I know at the end of my career, the disparity between how it left my hand, my fastball, and what it was when it crossed the plate. Dave Henderson, the late Dave Henderson, one of my great friends, said, boy, if they look at the scouting reports on you, you're going to get released.
It's a good thing they didn't have Fangraphs.
Oh, man.
Syndergaard asking for a conversation with Plawecki before throwing the next pitch.
Well, this is going to be a learning process, not only for Noah, but Kevin, who's going to get the majority of the time now.
1-2 to Pence. Slowly hit. Tough play for Wright with the bare hand. Go! Side retired. And we'll wait to see if the Giants challenge it. Pence signals to the dugout. I'm not sure. And the Mets will wait to see. Ron Wotus, the bench coach, on the phone, but a terrific play by Wright.
I tried to always go by the naked eye up here. I thought he was safe because the ball bounced. But did he catch the front of the base or not? That's the issue.
Made the flying leap, and well, it looks like the ball might have hit Campbell's glove before Pence's toe hit the bag.
I think it's a tie. Depends if you want to use it now, if it's close enough to go. Ron Wotus on the phone. He's been with the Giants for 17 years.
Well, this is part of the strategy of the game now. You know, it's 2 out and nobody on in the first inning. Do you use your challenge now, risk losing it for the rest of the game? And the home plate umpire, Ron Kulpa, is looking in the dugout and saying, you guys have to make a decision. And they have decided to challenge.
I think he's safe. I thought that from the one angle we saw, the ball was not firmly in the webbing of Campbell when Pence's foot was touching the bag. And I think the Giants agree. That's why they're going to the replay.
The key is it doesn't just have to enter the glove. Right. It has to hit the back of the glove before the foot hits the bag.
Guys, can we see that from the low third again? Oh, here's another look. And we'll see the front foot. That's a little more difficult because it gets inside the glove.
But does his toe actually touch the bag?
That's an issue.
Or did he come up short and then kick it on his way by? See how it now hits the bag?
Like the dirt jumps up there.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. That's a good call, Gary.
So that's one of the things that the replay umpires are going to have to try and parse. Gary Cederstrom's crew and Jim Joyce's crew are in the bunker in Chelsea, and they're looking at it now.
Here's the look I was looking at. See where the ball is, where his foot is. Ball, you can still see the white. I want to not see the white.
And they have confirmed the out call, and so the side is retired. So the Giants use up their challenge in the second inning, and the Mets have the call go their way. Play under review was brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters. Another terrific bare hand play by David Wright gets Syndergaard through the inning. Wilmer Flores leading off the home second against Madison Bumgarner, and he pops one up in foul ground. Duffy coming over near the railing, but runs out of room. Let's go back to that play at first. Our guys are artists. Watch this.
Well, runners are supposed to touch the front of the bag, but watch Pence. He does not touch the bag initially. He kind of skids into it, and there he gets it once the dirt jumps up. So nice job by the umpires. Nice job by our guys in the truck.
And by the time that toe hit the bag, the ball was securely in Campbell's grasp. So the Giants lose their challenge early in this game. We'll see if it comes back to bite them later.
And good call by Chris Conway, who got it right without all the replay.
Flores hit his first home run of the year yesterday. And he breaks his bat and bloops one to shallow center. Span coming on, and he makes the catch. Span had to freeze for a moment as the bat snapped, but was able to make up the ground.
Well, one thing we saw with the Nationals is that Span is great coming in on the baseball. And he shows again that when you're a center fielder, you're taught if the bat breaks, if you have any doubt on where to go, you come in. Shattered.
Sure do be. Here's Kevin Plawecki. Plawecki sat yesterday as Rene Rivera made his Mets debut. Kevins was swinging the bat much better the last few games.
Now, these are the things that work in your favor as a team when you've won 8 straight, the first 2 of a series, that you can have a lineup that includes Campbell and Lagares and Wright against one of the best left-handers in all the game.
Well, Plawecki, as was the case last year during Travis d'Arnaud's 2 stints on the disabled list, trying to get himself established. He's already shown that he can throw the ball, that he can handle the pitchers. Now it's just a matter of getting his bat going at the big league level. Curveball bounced slowly, and Duffy comes in to grab it. 2 out. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Eric Campbell getting the start at first base today. His first start for the Mets this year. He started 45 games for the Mets last season. A lot of those at third base when David Wright first got hurt. Seen several times in this series against right-hand hitters Brandon Belt play way off the line at first.
Well, number 17, who's usually in our booth, used to do that as well as anybody. The onus really is not on him playing that far out. It's on Crawford and Duffy and others. They're going to be throwing a lot of times to an empty bag, and Belt will just get there at the last second.
Bumgarner behind 2-0, and Campbell fouls back the fastball. Eric 1 for 9 to start the season. Noah Syndergaard would be next. You've got 2 pitchers in this game who can hit, and both of whom swing the opposite way from the way they pitch. Campbell rockets one into left for a base hit. So Eric Campbell with a 2-out hit. The Mets second against Bumgarner.
Well, both hits so far to Lagares and to Campbell have been fastballs or cutters in that he hasn't gotten completely in. Nice quick bat by Campbell. Really simple approach by Soup every time he goes up there. Quick swing.
So now Syndergaard looking for his first hit of the season. 9 for 47 in his career. Going to hang it against the lefty, and he takes ball 1.
Usually the number 40 on a uniform looks big on any player. On Bumgarner, it looks like the numbers are too small.
Well, you certainly have a couple of pitchers in this game who can fill out a uniform.
That's right.
Bumgarner listed at 6'5", 250. Syndergaard 6'6", 240.
There's a Bumgarner fan. Plenty of those.
Complete with wingspan. Grounded to Crawford. Takes it to the bag. That retires the side. Syndergaard and Bumgarner through 2. No score at Citi Field.
Well, Gary and Howie are back, and they're looking for new challengers. Think you can beat them at Mets Trivia? Audition for the next Beat the Booth from home. For details on how to video audition online for Beat the Booth, check out SNY.TV today.
Here's our Toyota tweet of the game. Which opposing pitcher, not a Met pitcher, do you most look forward to watching? Let us know. Hashtag SNY tweet. That's it, facing one of the best in the game today on a rainy afternoon.
Just see, she was using Curtis Granderson's socks in a different way on her hands.
Probably a good idea today. This was Curtis Granderson Baseball Socks Day. And, you know, hands or feet, they work just as well. Like the long glove of yesteryear. Pretend you're wearing them to the cotillion. Brandon Crawford leads off in the third against Syndergaard. Crawford 2 for 6 in this series. Goes after the first pitch fastball. 0-1.
The debutante ball here.
Syndergaard 2 strikeouts through the first 2 innings. Met pitchers struck out 208 batters in April, the most ever. And you know,
that was by a huge margin, right?
I mean, that's getting to be something that I think baseball needs to be concerned about. It's great watching great pitchers rack up big strikeout numbers, but if you get beyond the great pitchers, everybody's striking out in big numbers.
Well, I mean, it's routine for it used to be if a guy struck out 100 times in a season, I'm talking about a hitter, you'd say, boy, he's a strikeout guy. Now it's 150.
Strikeouts are becoming to the game now what home runs were for a while in the 90s and the 2000s. Too routine. That's hit hard and a base hit for Crawford. And the Giants have their first hit of the afternoon. You know what I mean? I mean, a home run is a special thing. You don't want the game to get skewed to the point where a home run isn't special, and that's where we got to for a while. Now, that's almost the case with the strikeout.
That was the same pitch that he threw to Brandon Belt for the strikeout, but Crawford put it in play. Rare 2-strike hit for Brandon Crawford. 081 he's hitting with 2 strikes.
Now Kelby Tomlinson starting at second base for the second straight game after Joe Panik tweaked his groin running out a ground ball on Friday night. Well, the start against the Phillies, he threw what, 13 pitches of 100 miles an hour or more?
Yeah, he just came out smoking out of the blocks. See his career record at home. And that start against the Reds, no walks, but it was really the theme of that was his 5 stolen bases against him.
It really slowed down his pace and took a toll on him. Tomlinson hits it right at the center fielder, and Cespedes has it. 1 out.
And we had talked about it on the broadcast, but it was confirmed later that Dan Warthen was talking to him in between innings to quicken it up, get more rhythm, get a better pace going.
So now Syndergaard has to face Bumgarner, who already has a home run this year against Clayton Kershaw. The second time in his career he's taken Kershaw deep. 12 home runs in his career, the most among active pitchers. Second most, 4. Mike Leake, who was Bumgarner's teammate for a while last year.
Think about this. He's got 71 hits in his career. 23 of them have been extra base hits. And in 274 at-bats, 378 at-bats, 41 RBI. That's like a hitter.
I mean, not even a hint of a bunt. And there since 2014 began. 10 home runs for Bumgarner, 4 for Leake, and nobody else with more. Crawford at first and 1 out. And it's interesting in this situation. David Wright's playing behind the bag at third. How many pitchers in the game in this situation would the third baseman be that far back?
And the aesthetics of the game, if you're looking at Bumgarner in the dish, does he look like a pitcher who's hitting? He looks like an everyday player. Big and imposing, too.
There goes Crawford. The throw by Plawecki, and it trickles behind Walker. And safe at second is Crawford with his first stolen base. So the Giants, even with the pitcher at the plate, inclined to run against Syndergaard.
Yeah, even guys that aren't stolen base threats will be running against Noah. And you see the jump, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 5.5 steps before the ball is on the way to the plate. That ball caught the hand again of Neil Walker. We saw that happen earlier in the season.
0-2 to Bumgarner, and he dribbles one off his foot, a foul ball.
When you're trying to catch a ball with two hands, sometimes you get your hand inside the glove too early. And see how that hits off the end of his fingers? And he shakes it off, of course.
Appears to be just fine. It's worth noting that the Giants, unlike the Reds, are not a base-stealing team. That was only their 8th stolen base of the season in 26 games. So they're going outside the box to run against Syndergaard. Bumgarner strokes it to left, but right at Conforto, and that's the second out. So some hard hit balls in this inning against Syndergaard. That time as he left the curveball up for Bumgarner, and there are 2 out.
It's almost not fair when you throw a breaking ball to a pitcher and he hits a screaming line drive to the left field.
So 2 out, Crawford at second, and here's Denard Span, who struck out his first time up. Well, those numbers are only going to grow until A, he figures out a way to hold runners closer, or B, gives up more base runners, and teams don't feel as though they have to take liberties.
Well, B's not going to happen.
Right.
So, and I don't think he's going to be able to make an adjustment within the season here, Gary. And I'm thinking that maybe he shouldn't anyway. Would not want to alter anything in his mechanics in season with him going as well as he's going right now.
Slowly hit. Syndergaard will have to get over to cover. Campbell feeds him, and he kicks the bag in time to get the 3rd out. Not the easiest of innings for Syndergaard. Some hard hit balls, but he fields his position well and gets himself through the inning. Still no score at Citi Field. Juan Lagares leads off the home 3rd and takes a strike from Madison Bumgarner. Lagares led off the 1st inning with a base hit to left field. Hitting lead off with Curtis Granderson getting the day off against the lefty. Lagares right in Conforto against Bumgarner, who's given up 2 hits and a walk through the first 2 innings. That's coaxed him to throw 37 pitches in those first 2. One thing about Bumgarner, though, he's going to pitch well beyond the standard 100.
Yeah.
Threw 114 his last time out against the Padres in 6 2/3.
Well, both he and Syndergaard, if you had a computer and spit out the perfect body for a pitcher, be one lefty and one righty.
Over the bag. That's a foul ball. Just foul. Third base umpire Paul Nart right on the line. It can be a very tough call for an umpire.
Boy, he had his eyes right on it. He blocked our vision, but he's right on it. Now, from that angle, it looks like a fair ball, but
it's where it goes over the bag in the air, because it hits fair before the bag and foul after the bag, and so it's a real difficult judgment call.
Well, what's interesting, there are no complaints from Terry Collins, and they have a good view from the home dugout.
One-two to Lagares, and he fouls off another fastball.
You know, from our camera angle here, it looks easily fair in my estimation.
But we're a little bit off the line.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
so.
But the way it looks there.
Yeah. Let's just say it wasn't an Adrian Johnson kind of a call.
Well, this is why I was surprised it was called foul. We'll wait for this pitch, and I'll tell you why.
Bumgarner jams Lagares, and Duffy comes in to call. One out.
Why I was surprised it was called foul. How many times do you see a third baseman dive down the line and the ball is foul, not fair?
Right.
Because they don't dive if it's 3 feet foul. They can't get there.
Although I will say this, it appears as though, as was the case, say, when Johan Santana pitched for the Mets, Duffy seems to play the line with Bumgarner on the mound.
It makes sense with all those cutters in. Plus, he has great range.
Now David Wright, who went down looking his first time up, and he takes a changeup up and away. And Bumgarner falls behind 2-0. It appears the rain has stopped, which I think is it's a big upset. I mean, the weather forecast when we left the ballpark yesterday was dire for this afternoon in terms of it raining all day, but although it was raining lightly when the game began, right now it's certainly not the most comfortable afternoon, but the rain has abated. Two and two to David. Does it feel like Bumgarner's throwing that cutter more than ever?
Yeah, well, a lot of right-handers in the lineup. Nice shot there, and you're not in the rain. Good seat today.
Full count to David.
Well, when a team has shown a lot of power, as the Mets have this week and in the first 2 games of the series, especially by Conforto and others, best way to take away power, crowd hitters. They can't get extended.
3-2 coming. And Wright lays off. And the cutter misses for ball 4. Second walk given up by Bumgarner. You could win a $25 gas card. Just follow SNY on Twitter during the 5th inning of today's game. For details on how to enter the SNY 5th inning sweepstakes presented by Tri-State Ford. Now here's Conforto, who took a call third strike his first time up.
Love watching good pitchers against up-and-coming hitters. Went after him with all hard stuff, struck him out on a fastball away. Is he going to do the same thing in the second at-bat?
Starts him out with a fastball for a strike.
You can hear Bumgarner grunting from here. We're in this booth. Imagine what it sounds like on the field.
Conforto batting with right at first and 1 out. There's a nasty cutter from Bumgarner, 1-2.
So you wanted to play every day and against lefties?
Well, maybe not this level.
You sure?
Left-hand hitters hitting just 200 against Bumgarner this year. Conforto able to lay off the fastball, 2-2.
Another grunt on the fastball from Bumgarner. Nothing inside so far. That is really, to me, the ability for pitchers when a hitter's going as hot as Conforto. I haven't seen anyone get in on his hands yet.
Stays alive. Cespedes on deck. Well, 250 some at bats into his major league career. This is about as big a test as Michael's had.
Bumgarner has more at bats than he has.
Yeah. Into shallow left center, and Pagan takes charge of it. 2 out and right back to first.
Well, this is a great pitch sequence you're going to see here against Conforto. Starts him off with the fastball away to get ahead with a strike. Misses on that cutter away, but doesn't miss this time with a good cutter slider. Then tries to paint him away, doesn't do it. Cutter full foul, and then goes back in with the fastball. Didn't get it completely in, but in enough to jam Conforto enough.
So now 2 out. Wright still at first, and here's Cespedes, who walked his first time up. Cespedes going 0 for 4 yesterday, had his streak of 9 straight games with an extra base hit snapped. And that's a club record that will stand. And so, I don't know, next week. That's hit hard, and Duffy can't make the stop. It rolls to the corner. Wright on his way to third. Pagan retrieves. Wright's going to have to be held up as Cespedes pulls into second base with a double. A bullet over the bag, and Duffy just couldn't get to it.
Well, let's start a new streak. That cutter in. And that ball just beat Duffy to the spot. Kind of skidded on the grass on him. I think that's how it got under his glove. I think Duffy thought he had it at some point, but just got there too quick. And David first to third. If Pagan had misplayed this at all, you would have seen Tuffle maybe sending right. But good play by Pagan down the corner.
So now 2 in scoring position with 2 out. That's the Mets' 3rd hit of the day. And Neil Walker, the batter. Walker flied out his first time up. Walker's done okay against Bumgarner. 3 hits and 10 at bats. And Neil gets ahead of one and pulls it foul.
His Angel down the corner. He's played some left field here at City. Gets to it the backhand. He does double clutch it, but one of the keys is just get to it and get it in. And Crawford probably has one of the strongest arms of any shortstop in all of baseball. That's a factor for a third base coach also.
He surprised David a little bit after do that little twist going back to the bag, and you worry about that with David and his back. Walker fouls back the fastball, and it's 0-2. Neal's hitting .368 with runners in scoring position during the first month of his Mets career. Bumgarner's had base runners in every inning. That's with their biggest threat to date, 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. And Walker pops it up. Brandon Belt waiting for it. And stays with it to end the inning. Mets leave 2 in scoring position after 3, still no score. Fourth inning brought to you by the 2017 Audi A4 and your tri-state Audi dealers. See those low clouds enveloping the buildings as you look uptown. Angel Pagan leads off the fourth inning against Noah Syndergaard. Pagan drew a walk his first time, and he takes the fastball low. Syndergaard had 3 hard hit balls against him in that third inning, but he's been able to keep his pitch count down. Only 39 pitches through 3. Bumgarner 61. There's a call strike, 1-1.
Well, we haven't seen the real good breaking ball, except for maybe once to Pence, from Syndergaard so far.
Matt Duffy on deck, and then Buster Posey for the Giants in the fourth. And Pagan strikes out. 1 out.
On order. I said I haven't seen the real good breaking pitch from Syndergaard. So he comes up with a tough slider here to Pagan. Just late break. That's the key.
Third strikeout for Noah today. 1 out and nobody on. Now Matt Duffy, who saw the first pitch and grounded into a double play his last time up. And Noah pops the fastball at 97.
Well, he's 4 for 8 this year on first pitch swings, so he likes to rake on that first pitch and hits well.
And Noah paints the inside corner and gets ahead 0-2. Well, last year Duffy finished second in the Rookie of the Year balloting behind Chris Bryant. And the breaking ball lined into center field for a base hit. So an 0-2 curveball, and Duffy reaches down and has himself a 2-strike hit. Second hit given up by Syndergaard.
You know, we always talk about when you're 0-2 on a hitter, you want to bury that ball in the dirt. Why do you want to do that? Because in 2-strike mode, the hitters are going to try and just to put the ball in play. And none better than this Giants team that doesn't strike out as much as most of the other teams we've been talking about in baseball this year.
The Giants have struck out the fewest times in the National League this season. Here's Buster Posey, who grounded out to third base his first time up. Duffy has a healthy lead, and Syndergaard sends him back. Giants have already stolen 1 base today from a non-base stealer in Crawford. Duffy, another guy who has not stolen a base yet this year.
Oh, that's a huge lead. In the old days when the National League had all those stadiums with carpet, that would have been full 2 feet on the carpet.
Duffy's running. Posey takes a strike. Plawecki's throw is too late. So just too big a jump, and Duffy has his first steal of the year, and the Giants' second of the day.
Well, you want to take a non-running team and make them running, have them face Noah Syndergaard. You know you're not going to group a lot of hits together, so you got to take your chances on the bases.
What is it in particular that takes him so long to get to the plate that they're able to take such liberty?
Well, there's one thing he does do that I can't say on air because I think it gives you know, it's not competitive imbalance if it were to say it, but
taken the other way, Walker can't get to it. Base hit. Duffy will go to third and stop there, and so the Giants have runners at the corners with 1 out.
I guess the best way to say it, he does something. Most base runners, as you see this hit, eludes Walker. Now the base runner Duffy had to freeze. That's why he didn't score in this. Well, not really a freeze. That was a good read by Duffy. But held up.
Lagares' arm and right.
Right. No, I was saying that base runners are taught to watch a pitcher, and if he has a particular tick on what he does right before he goes to the plate, he does it every time. So it's a very readable tick that Syndergaard has.
Is that something that's fixable?
That's fixable easily.
So Syndergaard having to deal with the runner at third with one out. Brandon Belt, the batter.
This is the stolen base. And see how long it really takes for him. It's almost like the windup, to tell you the truth, when he's going to the plate. So it'd be like a runner trying to steal in your windup. Pretty easy to do.
Well, Posey, you would suspect, is not going to try and steal. And Belt badly fooled on the slider, and it's 1-1. This is what this pitch can do to you.
We just saw it to Pagan, and now it's starting to heat up a little for Syndergaard. Starts right where they like it, down and in, and then buries inside.
He struck out Belt his first time up. Milwaukee again sets up inside. He makes him move his feet, and Noah stumbling coming down off that mound.
Yeah, he just slipped as he let that pitch go. He had released it, though, by the time he slipped. His left leg just went out from under him.
You worry about a knee on a play like that. Appears to be fine. No attention from the dugout, and that's good news. 2-1 to Belt with Pence on deck. And he flares one foul. 2-2. Well, Syndergaard's already gotten one double play ball in this game. Locked in a pitcher's duel with Madison Bumgarner. Tough left-hand hitter at the plate. 2-2 to Belt. Misses with the slider. 3-2.
Well, Syndergaard knows as Pence waits on deck. He knows that Bumgarner's awfully stingy, especially in this ballpark. So needs a strikeout or a pop-up here.
Choice for Bruce Bochy here. You got a slow runner Posey at first. If you send him, you risk the strike him out, throw him out. He's running. Belt breaks his bat, grounds one to second. Walker thinks about throwing home, settles for the out at first, and the Giants get the first run of the game. So by sending Posey, Bochy stays out of the double play and gets the first run.
Well, this is why Bruce Bochy is one of the best. He doesn't miss a thing, sends Posey one hopper, and Walker was thinking about it. I think he made the best play, though. That would have been too close at home. There's Duffy off the base. He didn't break right away, and that's why Walker thought about it. Now, the risk you have, if that ball stays in the air,
right,
you know, it's a double play.
So the Giants scratch out a run. Posey at second with two out. And here's Hunter Pence. And a good slider to start him off. And Syndergaard's really got that pitch rolling now.
That's why your thinking has to be open-minded as a manager. Posey probably doesn't run against anyone else in the game except Syndergaard.
And yet, you know, you think about what's the more likely outcome. You know, he already struck out Belt once, could have struck him out again, and the Giants could have been taken out of the inning that way. Pence drives one deep to right field. Back goes Lagares near the wall, and it's out of here. An opposite field 2-1 homer off the bat of Hunter Pence. His 5th home run of the season, and the Giants have put up a 3 spot against Syndergaard in the 4th inning.
Well, the one thing about Hunter Pence since he came up is that he loves the ball up in the strike zone. Tremendous power to all fields. You don't usually see him hitting a home run to right field, but he got all of that in Bumgarner's reaction.
First home run that Noah Syndergaard has given up this season in his 5th start. And now he's down 3 runs against Bumgarner and the Giants. Brandon Crawford had a base hit his first time up. It's only the 3rd time in the last 17 games that the Mets have seen an opponent score first. A couple of singles wrapped around a stolen base, and then A decision by Bruce Bochy to send the runner on 3-2 with first and third and one out pays off in a scratch run. Kept the inning going, and Pence exacerbates the damage. 1-2 to Crawford. He's looked so invincible at times it almost stuns you, right?
But it happens, especially when you face a team like the Giants. I know that the Mets have had their way the first 2 days, but this is a good ball club, and they're going to be in it till the end.
Crawford goes down on the slider to end the inning. Fourth strikeout for Syndergaard, but the Giants post 3. Pence with the 2-run homer, and it's 3-0 Giants in the fourth. Wilmer Flores leads off in the home fourth against Madison Bumgarner, who now has a 3-0 lead. Flores broke his bat and flied out to center his first time.
One of the joys in doing this job, Gary, is that occasionally a great pitcher will be given a skinny lead and see what he does with it. Most guys like Bumgarner, they take it and fly.
Well, you were saying between innings, and it's really the truth, that Bumgarner has not pitched his best game so far, and yet he's thrown up 3-0.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten the ball out front. When he's at his best, he's letting that cutter out front. He's done it a few times, but he hasn't quite gotten in that slot yet. When he does.
Flores gets under one to center, and Span measures it. 1 out. 1 out and nobody on. Let's check in with Steve.
Gary, before these guys were Major League Baseball players, they were, like us, just pretty big baseball fans. Favorite teams, favorite players, and we thought it'd be interesting to check in with guys as the season progresses, talk about their childhood, who their favorite player was, and maybe if there was something in their game that they tried to emulate as a kid that has now followed through to the major leagues. For Kevin Plawecki, he grew up a huge Chicago Cubs fan and a huge Sammy Sosa fan, like a lot of guys his age who are Cubs fans. Now, Sosa had that big toe tap before he would swing. Check out Plawecki when he swings. He also has a toe tap. Picked it up when he was 8 years old. It's still there.
I mean, you spend a lot of time in your backyard emulating the people that you really enjoyed watching play, and you do it playing wiffle ball or whatever you did. Now, if Kevin hits it out of the ballpark, he's got to give a little jump there.
Breaks his bat, skims one toward the middle. Crawford is on it and throws him out. Brandon Crawford, Gold Glove caliber shortstop, A terrific play for the first out, so for the second out.
He's one of those players that you've got to watch every day to really appreciate what he does for your ball club. Making that play limits a starting pitcher's pitch count, ranged far and wide, knew who was running, knew he had a chance, got up quick, and like I said before, maybe the best arm as a shortstop in all the game.
Won his first Gold Glove last year and showed it off there. 2 out and nobody on. Now Eric Campbell takes inside. Campbell had a base hit his first time up. Curveball bends in for a strike. 1-2.
Haven't seen that, and now starting to incorporate a third pitch as Bumgarner, or fourth really, the cutter, fastball, and change. Look at the hands on that baseball. You can barely see white.
Two to Campbell, and the curveball down. 3-2. I don't know about you, it's a little disconcerting to me watching these Mets in these uniforms.
Yeah.
Every time I look at a guy, I'm thinking, well, wait, what?
Yeah, they don't look like their normal self. And apologies from me and the rest of the gang in the 80s.
Oh, you didn't design them. Strike 3 called. Backdoor cutter gets Campbell. Third strikeout for Bumgarner. Throws up a 1-2-3 inning after getting the lead. Brought to you by your Tri-State Ford dealers, who invite you to test drive a new Ford. You'll discover why Ford is the total package. It's a little murky, but the rain has, well, it's still falling. Well, I was going to say it had slowed down, but actually it's kind of restarted now.
I do have to say, though, a brave decision to start the game. You see a lot of times they never start the game in the rain, especially with two great starting pitchers that you had today, and really it was the only window to start the game. You had to.
I think also the circumstances of it being the Giants' only visit and trying to get the game in any way they could. Met pitchers recorded 57 strikeouts last week against the Phillies and Braves, meaning fans can save 57% on tickets this homestand. Now through May 4th at Citi Field. Tickets available in select seating areas on a first-come, first-served basis while supplies last. Kelby Tomlinson leads off in the 5th inning for San Francisco. And he takes a fastball strike from Syndergaard. Worth noting, it's not yet an official game.
There you go.
Have to play a full 5 with the home team trailing. Bumgarner on deck, and then Denard Span. And that one skips away and caught Plawecki on the way through, and that one stung.
Well, Plawecki did what they try to teach you not to do, but it's hard not to do it when it's a 50-foot slider. Don't turn away, because you know what can happen? Go off their hand. Right on the end of his hand. Not off his knuckle, sorry.
Home plate umpire Ron Culpa giving Plawecki a moment.
I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it's better to get hit with the ball in the spots that are protected than to try to bail and get out of dodge, and the places that are unprotected sometimes become vulnerable. Oh, look at it, to cut some skin.
Left a mark. And the trainer Ray Ramirez is going to come out to have a look.
Well, this is why when you shake hands with an old catcher, shake hands with an old ball player, you know if he's a catcher or not, because they end up with some mangled fingers.
Sometimes when you shake hands with an old catcher, it's hard to get your hand extricated.
That's right. Not so much today. You know, post Johnny Bench, most catchers were taught to catch with one hand, the other hand behind their back or knee. But, you know, 50, 60 years ago, everyone caught with two hands.
Sure, you watch film of Jerry Grody catching. He had his hand right there behind the glove. So Plawecki will soldier on. 1-1 to Tomlinson. And he takes the pitch low. Syndergaard trying to bounce back after a difficult 4th inning. Gave up the 2-run homer to Pence after the Giants scratched out the first run. And that's away. And now he's behind the number 8 hitter, 3-1. Right back to Syndergaard. That's what you do when you know it's Syndergaard. You're facing the 8 hitter. You throw it right down the middle at 97, and you get an out.
And it was a two-seamer, so it caught the bottom of the bat of Tomlinson, who hit it right on the nose, right back up the middle, but it found the glove of Syndergaard.
So 1 out. Now Bumgarner, who hit the ball hard his first time up, lined out to left field on a curveball from Syndergaard. Now messing around, first pitch slider.
Bumgarner won the Silver Slugger last year. That's his 2nd Silver Slugger.
Raindrops on the lens, raindrops on everything. Fastball strike, 1-2.
And Bumgarner hit 5 home runs last year, struck out over 200. That's the first left-hander ever do that, left-handed pitcher. And not since Johnny Antonelli, who had 15 home runs with the Giants from 54 to 60, has any pitcher hit more.
1-2 coming. Slider away. Well, Bumgarner's done some things that haven't been done in a while. Back-to-back 18-win seasons. First lefty for the Giants since Carl Hubble. Carl Hubble.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Strike 3 call. Got him looking at a changeup.
Did you see that stare down from Bumgarner staring at Syndergaard because he threw him a 2-2 change? Like, how could he throw me that pitch? Just a simple motion. It's been simplified by Syndergaard. I mean, there's really not any wasted motion, and that's why his control has gotten better and better.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Denard Span, who's 0 for 2, struck out and grounded out. There's that two-seamer from Syndergaard. 0-1.
Span, when he's in the box, that front foot, it'll show like he's a little pigeon-toed. He turns it in towards that back foot. That really is to make sure that with the open stance, keeps that front shoulder closed.
Looks painful.
It does look painful.
I mean, your leg really isn't supposed to turn that way unless you're a ballet dancer.
Or did David Letterman used to have stupid human tricks? Maybe he's ready to go.
Two-one to Span. Fastball away, and for the second time in the inning, Syndergaard's fallen behind 3-1.
You get in this mode as any pitcher, but especially a young pitcher. Pagan's on deck. You know your predicament. It's 3-0 against Bumgarner. You can't give up any more, and sometimes start to get a little too fine. Sticking to that Dickey shirt underneath the uniform. You usually don't see the NY, but with these V-neck shirts, you see it.
Slapped the other way down the line. That ball goes foul off the side railing. And as Conforto was tracking it.
Almost caromed into Conforto.
Span's got some pop. You gotta watch him in these spots with 2 out and nobody on.
Especially down and in. He loves to just drop that bat head on it and wrap it around the foul pole.
Played only 61 games last year with the Nats, hit 5 home runs. You sometimes think of him as the Ben Revere clone, but he's got more power than Revere. Slaps that one out to short. And Flores throws out Span, so Syndergaard bounces back with a 1-2-3 inning. Halfway through on a rainy day in New York. God, how do you do that? It's like it hurts. 3-0 Giants. Home 5th inning. Noah Syndergaard leads off against Madison Bumgarner. Syndergaard grounded into a force play his first time and goes after the cutter and misses. 1-1. It'll be Syndergaard, then Lagares and Wright against Bumgarner, who's given up 3 hits but no runs, which is pretty much the norm for him in this ballpark. How about this for a might have been? Lagares on deck. Madison Bumgarner grew up in North Carolina and came out of high school in 2010 and committed to play baseball at the University of North Carolina. Giants drafted him in the first round, signed out of high school. If he'd gone to play for the Tar Heels, his mound mate there would have been Matt Harvey.
Wow.
Syndergaard strikes out. Can you imagine Bumgarner and Harvey on the same college pitching staff?
Righty and lefty. And I don't think you can get two people who are more different than
That's city and country.
There you go.
Probably would have been the best of friends. 1 out and nobody on. Now Juan Lagares. Third time through the batting order now against Bumgarner. Lagares had 2 good at bats, singled and fouled out. There's Matt, who will get the start Tuesday night here against the Braves. Braves pitching rotations in a little bit of flux because they had a rain out yesterday. They pushed Julio Teheran back to face the Cubs today. Looks like they pulled Bud Norris out of the rotation, put him in the bullpen, so they can either move Matt Whistler up to pitch tomorrow or they can bring up Mike Fultonevich to pitch tomorrow.
Saw Fultonevich pitch here for the Braves last season. First time Bumgarner's been behind in a few batters.
Still a little light rain falling. Been playing in rain for most of the game. Two and two to Lagares. So you've had rain falling now for about 2 hours since they took the tarp off the field. Now I know the grass drains great, but what's the biggest consequence now after it's rain? It's not heavy rain, but it's absorbed this much moisture.
Well, for the infielders and outfielders, when they pick up the ball, it's going to have some moisture on it. So you got to make sure that you're even more careful than you usually are in handling the baseball. As far as a pitcher, it's so different than it used to be because they take balls out of play so quickly now. Anything in the dirt is taken out of play and a new ball is thrown in. So it's pretty easy to keep the ball dry.
Here's your Ford fifth inning recap. 3 runs against Noah Syndergaard in the 4th. The last 2 on a Hunter Pence opposite field home run. Madison Bumgarner has held the Mets in check. Lagares hits it well out to right center field. Back in the gap goes Pence. He'll get there. And he runs it down for the 2nd out.
And it tells you a little bit about how hard the ball that Pence hit, because that ball was hit pretty good, didn't go anywhere.
You know, getting back to the conditions on the field, we saw Syndergaard slip once on the mound. Is it something you have to be careful of as a pitcher in terms of your footing?
You can't be really careful of it. I mean, you can, if you were pitching in a deluge, kind of shorten up your stride to make sure you didn't slip. But if you're doing that, you shouldn't be playing the game.
And certainly that's not the issue right now. It's not raining that hard. There's David Wright with 2 out. That's pulled over the bag. That's a fair ball. It hits off the tarp. Caroms over to Pagan, and Wright's going to have to settle for a single. So David Wright ripping one over the bag for a 2-out hit.
Well, Duffy, that we noticed earlier in the game, was playing on the line. Now has moved off the line. Not that he would have made that play. That ball hit right on the nose by David.
So that's the Mets' 4th hit of the afternoon. That'll get Conforto to the plate with a man on. Michael has taken a call 3rd strike and flied to left today, 0 for 2. Bumgarner at 85 pitches for the afternoon. And get the cutter in for a strike.
Sometimes in these games, it's hard to string hits together against a guy like Bumgarner. You need one of your power hitters to jump him and get you back in the game.
Or you need to wait till he's out of the game.
Yeah, there you go.
But you know, we talked about it early in the game. Sometimes you can win a game late by working hard early. Right? They ran up the pitch count on Bumgarner early, so maybe he doesn't go 8 innings today.
pretty sure that you're going to at least a couple innings maybe face the bullpen.
The Giants are a little shorter in the bullpen than normal, with Romo and Contos out. That's off the plate, 1-2 to Conforto.
Suppose he having him shake, even when not giving him signs.
And he gets Conforto with the cutter, struck him out for the second time. So Bumgarner has been a puzzle for Conforto today. 5 strikeouts for Madison Bumgarner. We have an official game. 3-0 Giants after 5. We go to the 6th inning, 3-0 Giants. Here's the tweet of the game. We asked which opposing pitcher do you look forward to watching. Here are some of your answers. Clayton Kershaw. That's a good pick.
Yes.
Marcus Stroman. Gotta love the little guy from Long Island.
I mean, he says he's 5'10". I think it's more around 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah. That's why he only wears a single digit. Jake Arrieta, whom the Mets beat last year in the League Championship Series. And that is the true Met fan answer.
There you go. That's funny.
And Strasburg is the choice of Jared Cooper.
Nice.
It's an interesting melange of perspectives.
Well, I love that. I love watching Arrieta pitch because the Mets beat him. I mean, he really hasn't been beat in the regular season in such a long time.
But you know, that's the thing, right? You want to face the best and
that's right.
Beat the best.
I mean, Arrieta's last loss in the regular season was Cole Hamels' no-hitter in Wrigley Field.
By the way, Hamels pitching for Texas today. The Rangers have won his last 14 starts.
Yeah.
It was quite an acquisition.
Well, what a game!
Fouls it off.
What a game he pitched on the last day of the season last year. They were scuffling. The Angels had closed it, and they needed a big game. He threw a complete game. He's been out though, right, with like groin injury or something. Yeah.
I think he missed one start. 1-2 to Pagan, and he buries that one. 2-2. Matt Duffy on deck, then Buster Posey for the Giants in the 6th. Each team with 4 hits, each pitcher with 5 strikeouts through 5 innings. But the Giants with the one big inning in the fourth against Syndergaard. And Pagan stays alive. Noah has not had that triple-digit fastball today. It's been 95 to 98. I mean, think about it this way. He's thrown some fastballs at 95 today. That first start in Kansas City this year, he threw sliders at 95.
That's right. His command with his fastball just not as good as we've seen it. There was a two-seamer he ran away, had almost too much movement to keep it in the strike zone.
3-2 to Pagan, and he lifts one to left. Conforto waiting for it. One out. So Noah's retired the leadoff hitter, 5 of 6 innings now. 1 out and nobody on. Now Matt Duffy, who got the Giants started with a base hit in the fourth, then stole second, came home with the first run of the game on a ground out.
On an 0-2 pitch from Syndergaard.
Went down and got a curveball and lined it into center field. And Noah throws one by him, 0-1. Oh, 2 to Duffy. Noah Syndergaard, 23 years old, supplemental first-round pick by the Blue Jays. Mets got him in the same trade where they acquired Travis d'Arnaud and Wilmer Becerra for R.A. Dickey. Made his debut last May at Wrigley Field. 6'6", 242. He's put on a couple of pounds. Maybe it's just the hair.
Well, you know, it's interesting when you trade for young pitchers is that, you know, you hope that they live up to everything they're supposed to, but very few do. And Syndergaard certainly has. Change-up grip in his glove. Will he stay with it? Yes, he will.
Well, it's been one of the interesting things about these young pitchers who've come up for the Mets since Matt Harvey began the parade is that they've all come up and fulfilled expectations or better, at least so far.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, you need some luck on your side also with the talent.
Duffy takes one the other way for his second hit of the day. So another 2-strike hit for Matt Duffy. Let's check in with the studio. Doug Williams has a game break brought to you by your local Honda dealers. That's at 16-7, a half game up on the Mets. Here's Buster Posey, 1 for 2 today. Single to right his last time up, and now Syndergaard will try and keep Duffy close after Duffy stole a base the last time he was on first. 2 steals for the Giants today after 5 for the Reds in Noah's last start.
You have to watch out first pitch here. Syndergaard's going to probably want to get ahead with the fastball, give his catcher a chance, and Posey will be ready.
Well, we saw the Mets pitch out once in this series, and what's wrong with doing that again? Give Plawecki a little better chance, or does that not matter?
I don't think it. You know, it'll definitely matter. The issue is wasting a pitch on one of the best hitters in the game.
Posey takes a fastball strike, 0-2.
It's almost like Posey is such a good teammate. He decided to take a couple pitches there to give Duffy a chance to steal a base. Duffy couldn't pull the trigger. He's in a hole.
Can't help him now. Makes Posey move his feet. 1-2.
That's a good pitch there by Noah, and Plawecki called that pitch. With 2 strikes, no one goes to right field better than Buster if you just stay on the outside part.
Seen that a couple of times in the last 2 days. 1-2 coming. Goes away at 98, 2-2. Noah up to 93 pitches on the afternoon. Mets are going to get their bullpen cranking now. Just do a very low pitch count the first 3 innings. The last 3 have been more difficult. And Posey chases for strike 3. 6 strikeouts now for Syndergaard, 2 out.
Nice sequence of pitches. He threw the fastball inside, fastball away, and then came back with the changeup down. It was supposed to be inside, but just down fooled Posey.
Hansel Robles up in the Mets bullpen. As Syndergaard tries to negotiate the 6th inning, facing Brandon Belt, who had a broken bat grounder to drive in the first Giants run. Duffy at first and 2 out. See if he takes off here. And Noah aware.
You think that if Duffy is going to take off, he's got to take off early in the count. Brandon Belt's a good on-base guy, as good as anyone in the National League. So if he leads off, you don't lose too much.
Got himself a side full of mud there.
Yeah, it's getting pretty muddy out there now.
Duffy's still getting a healthy lead at first base. He's running. Plawecki's throw not nearly in time. So that's 3 stolen bases for the Giants today, and the 2nd for Duffy.
It's uncanny in this game, isn't it? If you show any kind of weakness, the opposition will jump all over it, and that's what the Giants have done this afternoon. Again, the steps: 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. See his feet pushing off on that back, crossing over. Good mechanics there by Duffy. Those mud-laden spikes.
Well, we asked earlier, would the Giants have to dial it back at all with the running game because of the field conditions, and the answer clearly is no, even though it is muddy. Syndergaard now behind on Belt, 2-0. And now 3-0. Hunter Pence, who took Syndergaard deep his last time up, is on deck, and perhaps if Pence comes to the plate, we might see Robles in the game. And there's ball 4 to Belt. So Syndergaard, a 4-pitch walk, his 2nd of the day, and here comes Terry Collins. And that's going to be all for Syndergaard. He'll exit after 5 2/3 and 98 pitches and give way to Hansel Robles, who will come in to face Hunter Pence. So not the kind of afternoon that Syndergaard envisioned in his matchup against Madison Bumgarner. He'll exit on the short end of a 3-0 score. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. Syndergaard out, Robles in. We'll be right back to Citi Field. Syndergaard out after 5 2/3 innings, his shortest outing of the year.
One of the things are the repercussions from making sure that you have the same from your windup and your stretch. Mirror images now is that you can see what the base stealers have to deal with now. They literally are stealing off almost a full windup, and that's why it's easy to take the extra base.
Second straight day that Hansel Robles is brought in to face Hunter Pence. Pence almost hit one out of the ballpark against Robles yesterday. Turned into a sacrifice fly in the 8th inning. And Pence, who hit a 2-run homer his last time up against Syndergaard, faces Robles again.
Well, Terry Collins was addressing Robles, and he said that in spring training his slider improvement was astronomical. The only issue, he said, he's not really using as much in games, which he needs to start to do. Right there. See the leg kick. They're in the same position, closed, and as they go to the plate, I mean, it doesn't get any closer. That's what the runner gets. That's the advantage he gets against Noah, and that's going to have to be tightened up at some point.
Well, less than a full year in the major leagues now. Syndergaard's given up 27 steals in 29 tries.
When he's at his best, Gary, it doesn't matter because no one's going to put together hits. But, you know, those days that you don't have your A+ game are going to happen.
Two on and two out. And Pence pops it up. Right, and Plawecki taking a look at it, but that'll go back in the crowd. Can't catch a ball with an umbrella. It just doesn't work.
Well, think of it this way. When Syndergaard gives up a base hit to lead off an inning, anyone with any kind of speed, that's really like giving off a lead-up double.
Right.
How hard is it to stop someone from scoring when you give someone a lead-off double? It's very difficult.
Duffy at second, Belt at first with 2 out. Pence's home run was his 5th of the year. He hit it out to right field. And he takes the slider off the plate, 3-2. Brandon Crawford on deck. Mets have a left-hander up in the bullpen. Antonio Bastardo starting to throw. So Duffy and Belt get set to take off. 3-2 and 2 out. And Robles chases Duffy back.
That was very close. When you do that turn, you want to make sure your left foot gets behind the rubber. He almost went even with the rubber in front of it. That would be a balk.
Three-2 to Pence. Line the other way, base hit, charging at Lagares, trying to score Duffy. Lagares' throw not in time. A 2-out hit for Pence drives in a run, his 3rd RBI of the day. And it's 4-0 San Francisco.
Well, the big difference there is that the runners were running, and that with Lagares' great arm, it didn't matter. Again, a tough spot. Robles always seems to go with that fastball and a high one. And Lagares couldn't get to it quicker, couldn't get rid of it better. One hop to catcher, but he still can't do that on when the runners are running.
So that run charge to Syndergaard, who's also responsible for Belt, who's now at 3rd. And now Brandon Crawford will step in. So Pence with back-to-back 3 RBI games. Yesterday a 2-run single and a sac fly. Today a 2-run homer and that run scoring hit. Crawford is 1 for 2 today. And takes high for ball 1. So Robles, who had a difficult outing yesterday, finds trouble again today.
It's just going to have to be less predictable. You know, the 3-2 pitch for Robles is almost, I don't know, 90% of the time is going to be a fastball. He's got to incorporate that slider.
Crawford gets under one to right field. And Lagares waits for it to come down. That retires the side, but the Giants add a run. Mets will come to bat at the bottom of the 6th against Bumgarner, down 4-0. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Citi Field on a wet afternoon. It's down 4-0 as they come to bat in the home sixth. Yoenis Cespedes leads off. Cespedes drilled a double over the third base bag his last time up. Walked his first trip, so he's been aboard twice. So he now has an extra base hit in 10 of the last 11 games.
A new streak to start.
Start of the day, third in the National League in runs batted in with 23. Here's your StubHub Mets box score today. Not much, just 4 hits for the Mets against Madison Bumgarner, who started the day with a Citi Field ERA of 0.78 and has only gotten better. Last time Bumgarner was here, he threw a 2-hit shutout and struck out 10. That was 2 years ago. The Giants, before this series, had won 5 straight series at Citi Field. Mets ended that by winning the first 2 games of this series. Giants will move on to Cincinnati after today, while the Mets stay home to play Atlanta. Giants trying to get back to 500 with a win today. And Cespedes goes after a high fastball and strikes out. First time he's been retired today. 6 strikeouts for Bumgarner.
We said it in the beginning of the game that Bumgarner pitches up in the strike zone about as well as anybody in the game. And Cespedes has, if he has a hole, and he's got a couple, he'll chase some breaking pitches, is the ball upstairs.
So 1 out. Now Neil Walker, who is flied out and grounded out 0 for 2. There's a strike. Let's check in with Steve.
Gary, time was that Neil Walker wouldn't have even been under consideration to start against a tough lefty like Madison Bumgarner, but he's been hitting lefties this year, and more surprisingly, when he's hitting from the right side, he's been hitting with some power as well. Now, we've heard so much about the change in his setup where he took out that toe tap, and that's been something in terms of getting him to hit for average from the right side. But Kevin Long noticed some other mechanical adjustment he had to make that unlocked the power. Before, he wasn't rotating his back leg when he was hitting from the right side. It essentially locked up his hips and did not allow for the torque. That slight mechanical adjustment gave him some torque, gave him 3 home runs so far against lefties, the same amount as he had in the previous 5 years.
What's interesting today, though, at times, not all the time, he has been lifting that leg in his at-bats against Bumgarner, not toe tapping.
Lines that one into left center for a base hit. Span gets over to cut it off, and he'll hold Walker to a single. So Walker has his first hit of the day, and the Mets 5th.
Sorry, I rained on Steve's parade, and I was completely wrong. It was the toe tap that he used to have, and now he's gone to the kind of leg kick to start this swing, and that's been the big difference. Sorry about that, Gelbsy. And instead of toe tapping, he just lifts that leg and places it down, a little open when that ball comes in.
Now Wilmer Flores, who's been up twice and flied to center both times. And he bangs one off his foot. A foul ball. You see Wilmer's comments after his home run yesterday?
Yeah.
He said, I was so excited to hit it, it was like I hit a walk-off.
And didn't you say that was the last home run he had hit here?
It was
since the
one
walk-off
against the Nats last year.
Did Wilmer break his ankle this winter fouling a ball off his ankle? Is it this winter or maybe last winter? Just thinking that he's probably sensitive to that after fouling the ball off his foot.
Well, this was yesterday.
A little cutter off Matt Cain. It's amazing how many home runs that deck gets now.
That's into the air to deep left field, down the line, toward the corner goes Pagan, near the pole, and it's a foul ball. Disappeared from our view and just missed.
But Wilmer was a little quick on it. I don't think it had enough to go out. Whereas Angel on this. No, just shallow of that. And Angel kind of not shied away from the wall, but he didn't get to the wall first and work his way back.
It's a tough corner to negotiate.
It is,
There's
yeah.
so little room once you cross the line. So Bumgarner now at 100 pitches for the afternoon through a season high 114 his last start against San Diego. Giants get their bullpen busy for the first time. And Flores able to lay off the high fastball 1-2.
Bumgarner's been able to maintain his velocity, though. It is sat on 90 to 92 all game long.
His career high pitch count was 124. That was 5 years ago he did that when he was a mere pup. He was in the big leagues when he was 20. Little broken bat bloop, and back goes Crawford, and he grabs it for the second out. So Flores retired 2 away. Derek Law, who got up but never got in yesterday, is up this afternoon. Plawecki 0 for 2. Last time up, he had a broken back grounder toward the middle. Looked like it might sneak through, but the Gold Glove shortstop Brandon Crawford made a nice play and threw him out. Bumgarner's due a turn at bat in the 7th. If you're planning to take him out, do you let him hit first?
Yeah, why not?
Flared the other way, and a base hit for Plawecki. Walker goes first to third, and the Mets have something working here with 2 out. Runners at the corners, and Eric Campbell coming up.
Just jams Plawecki, but he fights it off the right field. Similar to the hit that Pence had yesterday to drive in too.
So a chance for Campbell to do some damage. Eric is 1 for 2, had a base hit to left field his first time up, then took a 3-2 pitch, a borderline strike 3 in the 4th. As Drupal Cabrera out on deck to pinch hit if Campbell can keep the inning going. And Eric takes the cutter outside for ball 1. So the Mets hoping to find their moment here against Bumgarner, who's up at 104 pitches now. Walker at third, Plawecki at first, and 2 out. And Campbell grounds 1 foul. Campbell getting the start at first base today against the lefty as Lucas Duda sits. Mets have a very strong left-handed bench today with Duda, Granderson, and De Aza all available from the left side.
Can't use him until this guy's out of the game, though.
Well, that's why Cabrera's on deck, a switch hitter. Campbell gets jammed and fouls back 1-2. First start of the year for Eric Campbell. Began the year with the team, got sent down for 3 days and then called right back. Bumgarner ahead 1-2. And Campbell takes high 2-2.
It doesn't matter if he's in trouble or not. Bumgarner really sticks to his plan, doesn't he? He has a sequence of pitches that he uses, from fastballs and cutters in against the righty, and then he'll try to go away with the cutter for the strikeout. Wants the curveball here, though.
2-2 coming, and it misses outside. Full count to Campbell. If Campbell can get on, Cabrera would come to the plate as the tying run. So Bumgarner trying to fight his way to the finish here and get through 6 innings. Plawecki will take off. Belt will play behind him. Three-2 to Campbell, and he walked him to load the bases. Third walk walk given up by Bumgarner, and what's a manager to do? If you're Bruce Bochy, do you stay with your ace? Looks like he will send Dave Righetti out for a chat.
Well, like you said, they're a little short in that bullpen. You know, he's good for 115 or so pitches. That would give him one more batter, and Righetti's going to come out, and he and Bumgarner and the rest of the Giants are going to discuss how they attack Cabrera. This really is a chance when you go out, when you have a stud like Bumgarner, just a chance for him to catch his breath. He knows what kind of situations he's in. He's faced it many, many times. Just wants the scouting report to confirm what he's going to do.
Well, as Drupal Cabrera has 3 career at-bats against Bumgarner, and he's 2 for 3 against him. And as Drupal gets an opportunity here as a pinch hitter, first game he hasn't started this year, and he'll be the tying run at the plate in the 4-0 game. Cabrera had 1 at bat as a right-hand hitter yesterday and grounded out. He's 3 for 12 batting right-handed this season. Walker at third, Plawecki at second, Campbell at first. 2 down, bottom of the 6th. Mets down by 4. And as Dribble takes a cutter for a strike.
Interesting outfield for the Giants. You got Pagan playing semi-deep, Span playing pretty shallow, and Pence in right field, to me, is a little deep against Cabrera.
And Cabrera fouls back the cutter, and now it's 0-2. As Dribble, 21 career at bats as a pinch hitter, 5 for 21. He's an everyday player, just especially in the American League. You just don't pinch hit that often. Now he finds himself in a 2-strike hole. Bases loaded, 2 out. And Cabrera takes strike 3 called. He didn't think so. But Ron Kolpa had it on the inside corner, and Cabrera is struck out to end the inning. And thus Bumgarner gets through 6 scoreless innings with his 7th strikeout. Close pitch. It's like it was off the plate. Cabrera had a gripe. After 6, 4-0 Giants.
Back here at a rainy Citi Field as the Mets trail 4-0. Well, even some dancing here in this game. You know, those 3 lovely young ladies. Ponchos all the way around as the Mets don't make any defensive changes except for their pitcher, Antonio Bastardo, who struggled in the first game of the series as he walked 2 in an inning of work.
It'll be 8-9-1 in the Giants batting order. In the 7th against Bastardo, Kelby Tomlinson leads off. Tomlinson is lined to center, hit a comebacker, 0 for 2. And Madison Bumgarner is on deck, so you were right, Ronnie. They're going to take him out of the game, but they're going to let him bat first.
Yeah, short bench. Although there's no one up in their bullpen, but they had people warming up, so I'm sure that it wouldn't take them long. Probably wait till there's an out. Unless he told his manager he wants the 7th, maybe whatever he says goes.
Well, that's hard to believe.
Right? You know, Bumgarner's that kind of pitcher, though, a guy that will say he's seen the starting pitcher struggle the first 2 games and maybe try to pick up more of the load. Who knows?
112 pitches for Bumgarner over 6 innings.
This is how I think you're going to see Antonio Bastardo, or how I've seen him in his career. He goes through these streaks where he has trouble finding the plate.
Well, just over the last few days, walks have become a little bigger issue for the Mets staff. They went into the weekend having issued the fewest walks of any staff in the league, but then 6 walks Friday night, 7 more yesterday. Tomlinson swings through it. 3-2. And Terry Collins even made a point of it after the game yesterday. He said, we're not a staff that walks people. That can't be what happens to us. Stuff's too good. Got to challenge people. 3-2 to Tomlinson. He fouls back the fastball. Bastardo making his 2nd appearance in the series. 2nd man out of the bullpen for the Mets today after Robles went a 1/3 of an inning. Gave up a run scoring hit. Tomlinson keeps the at bat alive. Eighth pitch of the at bat coming. And it's too high, ball 4, so Bastardo comes in and walks the first man to face him. Tomorrow night, the Atlanta Braves come to town. Bartolo Colon will open the series against the Braves tomorrow night. 6 o'clock, the coverage on SNY. And for more on the Braves, let's check in with Steve.
Gary, as we saw up close and personal last weekend, it's probably going to be a really long season for the Braves. 5-18 to start the year, and among the many problems for this team is the production that they are not getting from their middle infield. Eric Ibar, the shortstop, has been really putrid so far this season. An on-base percentage under 200. The rotating cast at second base hasn't been much better, and you get the sense that the Braves realize if they're going to lose, they might as well lose by bringing up some youngsters. And so the 2 top shortstop prospects in the organization this weekend have been promoted a lot quicker than people thought they would be. Ozzie Albies promoted to AAA, Dansby Swanson promoted to AA. And again, you get the sense that sooner rather than later, one, if not both of these guys will be manning the middle infield for the Braves this season.
Well, Albies is only 19 years old. We saw him this spring, and he was very impressive.
Very impressive. And Dansby Swanson was the #1 pick for the Diamondbacks just a season ago, and he was in the Shelby Miller trade.
One of the other big pieces in that Shelby Miller trade was Ender Inciarte, who's been out with a hamstring injury. He could be back at some point during this series coming up. If not, then by next weekend at the latest. And that will certainly help the Braves as well, because You know, Malik Smith, who's been playing center field in Enciarte's absence, he can run, but he hasn't really hit.
Well, he's probably not ready. You know, it's very hard when you promote young players before they're ready and expect them to get it right away.
There are your city probables. The Braves are a little in flux because they got rained out yesterday. So we'll show you the Mets starters and fill in with the Braves as we get them.
It's a TBD kind of year for the Braves.
Yeah. 5-18 going into the day. And Bumgarner takes outside, a ball and a strike. Braves are playing in Chicago today despite some more murky conditions there. No score in the 5th. They are not making up that rain out today. Going to do it sometime later in the season. It's a little odd,
yeah,
right?
It is.
Only visit of the year. But I guess, you know, with the Cubs at Wrigley, because, you know, the Cubs are good and Wrigley is Wrigley and they sell out or close to sell out almost every game. Can't play a day-night doubleheader today because of the Sunday night rules.
That's right.
Bumgarner gets under one to left, and in comes Conforto. One out.
There's been many years that we've gone into Atlanta series, and you can know who you're going to have to talk about in the series. This is not the case this year.
Not sure that that helmet was really meant for that use, but you go for it.
You know what's going to be interesting is that they have two pieces. Probably one can't go because of a big contract, Freddie Freeman, who's gotten off to a slow start. But pitching today, Julio Teheran is going to be there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be interested in him.
Here's Denard Span, who's 0 for 3. How about this guy? Do you think anybody would be interested in Nick Markakis? Signed a 4-year deal before last season, so he's got 2+ years left.
And with the contracts the way they've gone, he's almost acceptable now, his contract, right?
I mean, his power has disappeared.
Yeah.
But he's still, he's still a high on base percentage guy, outstanding right fielder. And I wonder whether there'd be interest.
If you have a team that has a very capable #1 starter, is A.J. Przinsky a guy that you think about being a backup left-handed bat off the bench?
Be a really good backup on a good team.
Yep. Not like they've not made enough trades, the Braves. They're trying to make more trades for him.
Well, I'm sure everybody's available, including Freeman, who, as you say, might be untradeable right now because of concerns about his wrist and the length of his contract. Breaking ball down, 2-1 to Span. If Freddie starts hitting a little bit and shows that he's fully healthy, I think that changes the equation. Here's your Chevy around the majors today. Max Scherzer and Carlos Martinez locked up in St. Louis. Jay Bruce back in the lineup after the birth of his son. And the Brewers leading the Marlins 5-1. Chris Carter a home run.
Chris, I only hit home runs. Carter.
There goes Tomlinson. The throw by Plawecki is not in time. So different pitcher, same result. Tomlinson has his first stolen base of the year.
When you bring a left-handed reliever in, he should negate the running game. But he didn't really go on first look. He looked back in, so who knows if you wouldn't think the hit and run is on, but he did look back in, but had enough speed. Tomlinson stole some bases in the minor leagues.
And 2 years ago, 49 stolen bases in Double-A, so he can run. So that's 4 steals for the Giants today. And a runner in scoring position with 1 out for Span. The starter working at a snail's pace. And he misses inside to Span, 3-2. It's interesting you mentioned Chris Carter and only hitting home runs. Astros were a lot better off with him.
Boy, they're struggling.
7-17 for a team that Went to the postseason last year and thought they were going to get better. That's lined right to Walker, and back to the bag gets Tomlinson. 2 out.
Well, Gary, what was interesting is that we spent a lot of time thinking this winter there were a lot of teams that seemed to be automatic for the postseason, and not all of them can come through. And it's been the Astros who have been the biggest disappointment so far. I mean, there was a lot of talk Minnesota could build on what they did last year. They've gotten out of the blocks slow.
Well, another team that's struggled lately is the defending World Series champions. The Royals have lost 5 games in a row after getting shut out by Wade Miley in Seattle last night.
And the best team in Chicago might not be on the north side right now.
True, too. You know the scary thing about the White Sox? They're 17-8, and the 2 big guys in the middle of the batting order, Jose Abreu and Todd Frazier, haven't hit.
Abreu had a couple hits yesterday, but you're right. And Frazier has started to heat up just a bit, but considering where he started, anything would be lukewarm from where he started.
Pagan lines one into right center. That's down for a base hit. Cespedes gets over and cuts it off. Tomlinson scores. Pagan will settle for a single, and now he's hung up between first and second.
He hurt himself.
And he's hurt. And he's tagged out by Campbell. So Pagan pulling up. And we'll wait to see exactly what transpired with him. But he drives in a run with a base hit to make it 5-0 San Francisco. And then as he slammed on the brakes, looked like the hamstring grabbed. So Pagan coming out, but the Giants tack on a run. Though on a rainy afternoon at Citi Field, the left-handed stylings of Madison Bumgarner against the power of Noah Syndergaard. And it's the Giants who've had the upper hand. Hunter Pence with 3 runs batted in. Syndergaard's afternoon stopping short of what he would have wanted. And the Giants take a 5-0 lead into the bottom of the 7th.
Well, Gary, the good news for the Mets offense, though, is that Bumgarner is out of the ball game, and a right-hander has come in. Derek Law, who did not start the season with the Giants, as Gregor Blanco is in left field for defensive purposes. Derek Law started in AAA Sacramento. He has not given up a run in his first 6 big league appearances with 7 strikeouts. So Bochy going with a hot hand.
So Blanco in left field taking over for Angel Pagan, who got hurt while running the bases just a moment ago.
It looked like his hamstring, but remember, Angel Pagan had knee surgery this past offseason.
Today's starters brought to you by People's United Bank. 6 more scoreless innings for Madison Bumgarner, who now has a Citi Field career ERA of 0.62.
Wow.
Noah Syndergaard allowing 4 runs in his 5 2/3. His ERA skyrocketing to 2.51. Here's Pregame again.
Well, he had thoughts of going for 2, and then he knew he had to pull up because of Cespedes' arm, and it's right there where you can see something pulled or strained something.
Juan Lagares leads off against Derek Law in the home 7th and takes a fastball for a strike. Lagares right in Conforto as the Mets try and cash in on Bumgarner's exit. Bumgarner threw 112 pitches over 6 innings, and Lagares shoots one down the right field line toward the corner, and that's a fair ball. Lagares digging for second. Pence has it bounce away from him, so Juan will try for 3 and make it standing up. Second triple of the year for Juan Lagares.
Well, it's almost like you got new life with Bumgarner out of the game and a youngster in the pitch. Fought this ball off to right field. Usually these balls go foul, but it stayed in. It caromed.
Oh, that might have hit a fan.
And it did hit a fan.
That could be fan interference, and the Giants might be able to challenge that.
Yeah, push. Is there a chance that
no, they can't challenge because they used it, but they can coax the umpires into doing a crew chief review.
I mean, it's obvious it hit the fans. Anytime it hits the fans, it should be a double.
Well, except that it is umpire's discretion when it hits the fans.
It is discretion, but he wasn't going until that ball caromed away from Pence.
And the umpires will do a crew chief review.
Now, if you're Pence, you know where the ball is going to land. But once it hits the glove and the fan, it caromed back towards the field, and he pointed right away.
He stopped. I think that was the bigger issue.
That's an easy call for the umpires, I would think. Boy, caught that person right in the chin.
So this may be dialed back to a double for Lagares.
Just showed it on the board. Groans all around.
Again, the Giants don't have a challenge, so they, the discretion in the rule is that as a manager, you get to try and coerce the umpiring crew into doing their own review, which is what this is.
Well, you're trying to get it right, and it shouldn't take this long, honestly.
Play under review brought to you by Mazda.
And it's also, you don't ever take this into play, but in that situation, Lagares, there's no way he can go for a triple unless that ball does get away from Pence, because he's leading off the inning. You don't want to make the first out of third.
Well, so down by 5 runs.
All of those things come into play. It's Bruce Bochy and Ron Wotus to his left. I said earlier, 17 years he's been there. Righetti, 16 years. Bochy, forever.
It's a lot of stability on a coaching staff. See, the problem here is, even if the folks who are looking at this on replay in Chelsea see the fan interference, it still is a discretionary call whether it's made on the field or on replay on fan interference where to place the runner.
That's right.
It's not like a ball that bounces out of play. If it bounces out of play, it's automatic 2 bases no matter what. But the ball did not bounce out of play. It was hit by a fan who was hanging over the railing onto the field of play. That makes it fan interference, which means that it's not automatically a double. It's up to where the umpires, whether the umpires here or the umpires watching on replay, think that the runner would have gotten to without the fan interference. And I don't think you can see that better on replay than you can in the ballpark. It's a call that should remain with the umpires here because they can see all the angles necessary to tell where the runner should have been.
And if the ball hadn't hit the 2 hooded young men down there, it would have been in the corner, so that would have been a more difficult play for Pence.
Either way, it's almost impossible to split hairs here and decide where the runner belongs.
Well, to me, it was halfway between first and second. If we watch Lagares, as he's watching the ball, once he sees it gets away, see, he looked over his shoulder, that's when he picked up his coach and went on to third base.
And they are sending Lagares back to second, so it turns into a fan interference double.
It's the right play.
And now Terry Collins is coming out, and he's going to want an explanation. And Ron Culp is going to tell him, well, I can't tell you the explanation. I didn't make the call.
Well, I think also what he's asking is that, listen, Bruce has already had his challenge. What happened there? And that's where Culp will tell the manager, hey, we were going to check it anyway.
Over 3 minutes. Crazy.
Can't get those back.
Here's David Wright, who has a walk and a single today, 1 for 2. Mets have 7 hits now. So Bumgarner's away, and the Mets are hoping to play. And a cross up there as Law threw the curveball, and Posey was expecting something else.
And he got a strike. Curveball. Posey expecting the express. Somehow gets some leather on it and almost frames it enough for Ron Culp to call it. It was a strike right down the middle.
Well, for a catcher, better that than the other way around, where they're looking for a curve and they get a fastball. That can hurt. Javier Lopez, the left-hander. Cody Guerin, the right-hander, up in the Giants bullpen. A couple of side armors. They can scrape the opposite walls while they're warming up. On the inside edge to right, and it's 0-2. Michael Conforto on deck.
On spring training on the left, you see the big leg kick, and he's tried to reduce that now this week and try to simplify things. Just not even a toe tap, just gets it, kind of squishes the bug, as they call it for young kids, with that front foot.
It's almost like that leg kick was a temporary device just to kind of get him going.
Trying to generate a little more power, maybe. So really just grounds it out on his toe on the right side, and all timing has to be perfect on the left. That's what he's eliminating movement, just like pitchers do it.
Well, when he does the leg kick, his hips don't open nearly as much. That's laced into center field for a base hit, and that'll bring home a run. Lagares will score. David Wright with his second hit of the day, an RBI single. So Bumgarner gone, back-to-back hits, and the Mets have their first run of the day. It's now 5-1.
Well, he had tossed 4 scoreless, Mr. Law, until this hanging curveball. David creams up the middle. Crawford shading the pull. Easy hit up the middle, and the speed by Lagares gets that first run, and Law's out.
Made the triple, turning into a double. Moot. Javier Lopez in to face Michael Conforto when we come back. Let's look at today's Verizon trivia question. Who were the starting pitchers in Game 4 of the 2000 National League Division Series between the Mets and the Giants?
Whoa.
That was the clincher of that series, and it was a memorable game for the Mets starter.
Well, Javi Lopez, left-hander's been wearing him out this year, batting 7 for 15 off from 467.
Conforto, first pitch swinging, flies one out to center, and Denard Span tracking it for the first out.
But I was going to finish my thought. Career only hitting 200 off him as Bruce Bochy matches up against Conforto, and now we'll take Lopez out of the game.
So Lopez threw one pitch, and now with Cespedes coming up, Bochy wants the right-hander, and he'll bring in Cody Guerin. So Lopez, best job in baseball. One pitch, one out, take a shower. We'll be right back. Former Atlanta Brave right-hander Corey Guerin on to pitch for the Giants.
Released by the Braves in 2014, picked up by the Giants. Only pitched in 7 games for them last season.
Comes in to face Cespedes with right at first and one out. A run home for the Mets in the 7th as they try and fight back against the Giants bullpen. And Cespedes taking all the way, a strike.
Side armor right-handers only 5 for 30 off Guerin. I mean, if you can, wouldn't you love on every staff to have one of these guys, the side armors?
Got the lefty side armor Lopez, the righty side armor Guerin. Tell you what, the Mets have had some success with side armors out of the bullpen over the years.
That's right.
Going back to Terry Leach.
He's more from the side. It's not the Terry Leach scraping the knuckles on the ground submarine pitch.
Jeff Ennis, Chad Bradford.
Right. And they had Darren O'Day.
Yep, well, for a few games. Maybe it was one game. 2-1 now to Cespedes.
I mean, just underneath the baseball. We talk about being on top of the baseball all the time. Just the opposite for these submariners or side armors.
Corey Guerin just turned 30 years old. Trying to find a home with the Giants. His 11th outing of the year. Neil Walker on deck. 2-1 to Cespedes. And he hits a double play ball right at Crawford. The turn by Tomlinson for the 6-4-3 double play. And so Guerin comes in and gets 2 big outs. Mets get their first run on Wright's RBI hit, but trail 5-1 after 7. 8th, Logan Verrett will come on to pitch for New York.
You see Verrett's numbers. The versatile Verrett has been great. 0.52 ERA. Walks are up a little bit, but he can pitch in many different situations. Very, very important to this ball club.
Worked an inning on Friday night. Got himself in and out of trouble. Worked out of a bases-loaded jam. They'll face Matt Duffy leading off in the 8th inning for the Giants. Duffy 2 for 3, 2 singles, 2 steals, 2 runs scored. Giants have stolen 4 bases today, the first 3 against Noah Syndergaard. And the last one against Antonio Bastardo that cost him a run in the last inning. And that's laced the other way, a foul ball. So let's talk about Syndergaard and all the stolen bases. If you're Dan Warthen getting together with Syndergaard between starts, what do you talk about in terms of doing something?
That's a really interesting question because there's 2 options, right? There's an option where you say nothing because he's been throwing the ball pretty well. He got nicked up with Pence's home run today. Or you try to, in small increments, take care of this issue.
Duffy laces one to left, but on comes Conforto to make the shoestring catch. Hard hit ball, 1 out.
And what I mean by that is that pick an optimum of what you'd like Syndergaard to do in the running game. So say there's 5 different things he can do at some point. Pick maybe 1 to work on for a while. Pick another one down the road. I think to overhaul it right away would be a mistake because he's throwing the ball too well. But he is going to have to deal with people stealing bases at some point because you've got to be, the only pitcher I've ever seen be able to do that is Dwight Gooden. And he used to strike out the world. Now, Syndergaard strikes out the world also, but it's very difficult, I think, because Dwight didn't care about guys on base. But to me,
Posey hits one deep to left. Conforto back near the wall. It's out of here. Buster Posey gets a hold of one and cranks it into the seats. His 4th home run of the year, and the Giants now lead it 6-1. Second home run of the day for San Francisco. Pence went deep in the 4th against Syndergaard, and now Posey against Verrett in the 8th.
We were mentioning it earlier that the Mets were just hoping that Posey would stay quiet through this series, but answers on the first pitch changeup from Verrett and jumps all over it. And on his front foot still hits it out of this ballpark. I guess, Gary, the difference between what I saw with Dwight and being there on the bench, and I'm not on the bench with Noah, is that it did not bother Dwight in the least. He did not care. Guys would run. He was like, fine, whatever you want to do. Next guy's going down. To me, it seems that it does bother Noah a lot. And I think what you tend to forget is that these athletes are so proud, and no pitcher wants to go out there and have people running the bases at will. So he'll have to address it at some point. I just don't think it's going to be as quick as one might like, because you don't want to interrupt the way he's throwing.
Dalt goes around. That's strike 3 for the 2nd out.
I mean, classic. He takes that bat off his back shoulder, little toe tap, and right in front of the plate, one-handed almost. Because on the changeup, it had him a little out front, but he catches that right on the barrel. You saw it make a blue mark on the bat.
So now Hunter Pence will bat. He's driven in 3 runs today with a home run and a single. The other piece about that, interesting now that you bring up Dwight Gooden, when you guys pitched, you could ignore the running game if you wanted to. But now, because the throws to first base, the pitch outs, the step offs are all called from the dugout, it's almost as though you can't get it out of your mind because it's being controlled for you.
Yeah, I was lucky with Davey. Davey just let me have a feel for it. If I felt guys were very they wanted to run over at first base, he let me have a feel for it, and it really helped because
Pence hits another one deep to center. Back goes Cespedes. He'll have room to make the catch.
If you have control of your own destiny in anything you do, much easier.
Posey's home run adds to the Giants' lead at 6-1 going to the bottom of the 8th. Home 8th inning, Neil Walker leads off against Cody Guerin, and he takes a strike. Guerin came in to get a double play from Yoenis Cespedes to end the 7th, stays on for the 8th. Walker 1 for 3 today. Madison Bumgarner went 6 scoreless innings today. Allowed 6 hits, walked 3, struck out 7. Derek Law gave up the run in the 7th. Javier Lopez and Cody Guerin combined to get out of that 7th. And now the breaking ball in for a strike to Walker, 1-2.
Ball players call that a frisbee slider. That ball that kind of stays straight for a while and then cuts right at the last second back into the strike zone. A lot of shaking off of these pitchers of Buster Posey the last couple of innings.
Frisbee slider is great if you can control it. I don't know how you are with an actual frisbee, but I have no idea where it's going.
I thought you were an ultimate frisbee champion.
Wrong guy. I'm ultimately awful throwing a frisbee. That slap toward the hole, and it gets through for a base hit. So with the Giants playing a shift against Walker, Walker found the open space for his 2nd hit of the day.
Well, with a sidearm throwing, sinker is one of his best pitches, and if it's away with 2 strikes, if you're a good hitter, you're going to go that way, and Walker finds the hole just underneath the glove of Crawford, who does a slip and slide as we're talking about the frisbee.
So the Mets have their 9th hit of the game. And now Wilmer Flores has gone 0 for 3, broken his bat twice. And he lines one foul.
Put a lot of strain on your elbow when you throw from the side. I mean, that elbow just rotates, pronates over that forearm and wrist. Although the lower you go, the better it's supposed to be on your shoulder. It's a more natural way to throw. That's why the softball pitchers can pitch every day.
I don't know. When I watch softball pitchers, that doesn't look like it's great for your arm either. Flores moves away from the slider, 1-2.
See how he gets under that breaking ball, starts to spin, and it takes a while before it starts spinning quicker. It's like it is spinning at a slow rate and it picks up spin as it gets closer to the plate.
Like a frisbee. Catches air. Hit the other way, a base hit for Flores. Walker pulls it at 2nd, so back-to-back base hits to start the 8th, just as the Mets had 2 straight hits to start the 7th.
Just a fastball, but if you're throw from the side, you can't be up in the strike zone or it'll just flatten out. Good hitting by Wilmer, who's taking some better at-bats.
So 1st and 2nd, nobody out, and now Kevin Plawecki will try and keep the line moving. Plawecki had a base hit to right field his last time up, 1 for 3 on the day. Now keep in mind what we talked about before. The Mets have a lot of left-handed bench today with Duda, Granderson, and De Aza. You've got Eric Campbell on deck, the pitcher spot behind him, and the Giants, well aware of the Mets' left-handed bench, get a lefty up in the bullpen.
That's why I thought that maybe Terry Collins could have thought about the sneak attack, sending up Granderson maybe in this situation before Bruce Bochy could think of making a move. Bochy is anticipating down the bottom of the order of the move being made against, and he'll bring in Osich.
Osich was very impressive yesterday. Duda's got a helmet on. Granderson looking for one. Plawecki laces one to center, but Span is right there. Walker will fake the go and hold at second base. One out. And now Campbell being called back. And Lucas Duda will pinch hit. So Duda getting the day off today with a lefty on the mound. He went 2 for 3 and a walk yesterday. Getty wants to know if Osich is ready.
With the delay here by Posey and Rigetti trying to get an answer, Bochy waiting, we might hear the entire version of All Along the Watchtower.
Now the Mets still have 2 more left-hand hitters in De Aza and Granderson, and they've got their backup catcher Rene Rivera from the right side. And here comes Bochy, and with a 5-run lead, he has not yet made a signal to the bullpen, so he's still killing some more time. But it looks like Osich is already walking in. They've opened the door for him.
To me, this is the right move.
So Boch has not taken the ball yet. He's not made a sign, but Osich thinks he's coming in. And now they make the sign. 6-1 Giants in the 8th. We'll be right back. Answer our Verizon trivia question today. Starting pitchers, game 4 of the 2000 LCS. Well, that's Bobby Jones, who threw a one-hitter that day, and Mark Gardner. One of the greatest games ever pitched in Mets history.
The greatest game in his career.
Jeff Kent had the only hit for the Giants in that game.
Josh Osich, and we saw him yesterday's game. Great sink on his fastball, good hard slider. Perfect makeup for a left-handed reliever.
Got 3 ground ball outs in the game yesterday, and he gets a first pitch strike to Duda.
Osich throws a little bit like Zach Britton from the Orioles, who went down with a leg injury yesterday, maybe an ankle.
Curtis Granderson on deck to pinch hit for the pitcher. Duda's batting for Campbell. 2 aboard and 1 out. And Lucas hits a double play grounder. Tomlinson gets the out at second. The relay by Crawford just a shade too late. Just not quite hit hard enough. And they get Flores on the force for the second out.
But good hustle by Lucas just to beat it. I didn't think they were even going to attempt that, but they tried it and made it close.
because Crawford has such a great arm.
Great arm and comes across the bag beautifully. Through that flat-footed.
So now Granderson will get the pinch hit at bat against the lefty. Curtis was 1 for 4 yesterday, 2 for 8 in the series. Walker at third, Duda at first with 2 out. And the cutter off the plate for ball 1.
Card reference here, but the Mets are playing all their trump here in the 8th inning.
Osich trying to bid 7 no trump.
There you go.
Gets the cutter on the corner.
Don't renege.
Lagares on deck. Mets have 10 hits today, but only 1 run. They've stranded 9, in danger of stranding 2 more. Osich misses low, 2-1. Well, with Lagares on deck, Bochy's got the right-hander up. Looks like his closer, Santiago Casilla, is beginning to loosen up. Pitching through the raindrops.
All game long.
Two and 1 to Granderson. And Curtis takes a strike. 95 from Osich, and it's 2-2.
Posey, relax, calm down, execute.
2-2 coming, and he misses low and away, full count. So the pride of Boise, Idaho, has run a full count to Granderson. Duda will be running. Belt playing behind him at first. Walker's on third. 3-2 to Granderson. And Curtis takes a rip and goes down swinging to end the inning. Good sinker by Osich. He comes in, gets a couple of outs to keep it 6-1 San Francisco. Well, it used to be the home of both the Mets and the Giants. Giants first.
Yeah.
Polo Grounds in Upper Manhattan.
As Willie.
155th Street and 8th Avenue. It was, what, 270 down the line and close to 500 feet to center field. Oval-shaped stadium built for polo, not for baseball. Top of the 9th inning. Jerry Blevins will take over the pitching. And Brandon Crawford takes a strike.
That's where the clubhouses were in center field, right? So after the game, both teams would just walk out through the center field gate.
Crawford 1 for 3 today. And takes a big cut at a slow curve, and it's 0-2. Well, the Giants, 8 World Series titles, including 3 in the last 6 years. They had never won in San Francisco until 2010. Their previous title coming in 1954 when they swept the Indians.
Is that the 54 Indians team that won 116 during
111.
111
in a 154 game season.
That's what it was.
Curveball grounded to Walker, down to a knee. Crawford retired, 1 away. Let's check in with the studio, see what's coming up on WB Mason Postgame Live. All right, we'll stay tuned for that. Kelby Tomlinson bats here with 1 out in the top of the 9th. Tomlinson 0 for 2 and a walk, stole a base and scored a run in the 7th. Facing Jerry Blevins, who runs one on the inside corner, 0-1. Gregor Blanco's hitting 9th in the order. He's on deck. No word yet on Angel Pagan, who left while running the bases in the 7th, necessitating Blanco's entry into the game. Pagan has had so many injury issues to deal with over the last few years. As Tomlinson lifts one to shallow right, and Lagares grabs it, 2 out. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by T-Mobile. Get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. By Empire City Casino, Manhattan's closest casino. Game on. And by Mazda, driving matters. Blanco bats for the first time today. Grounded out yesterday. Had a pinch hit double on Friday night. It's an awfully good 4th outfielder to have on the team. Good defender. Gets on base. He will be ever etched into Giants lore for the catch that he made to save Matt Cain's perfect game.
Oh, that's right.
Good curveball by Blevins. He's leaning on that pitch. Geico Sports Night tonight at 10:30. We'll have all the baseball. Another recap of the draft. And the NBA playoffs continue too.
Well, there's 7 rounds. There's lots of guys picked, Gary.
Is it still going?
No. Mr. Irrelevant has made an appearance.
You know, when they had, what was it, 15 rounds in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant was much more irrelevant.
That's right.
Now he's semi-relevant.
I thought you were going to say Blanco in the 2014 World Series made that 9th inning a little interesting in the World Series against Kansas City.
That's right. Strike 3 called. Blevins gets Blanco looking. So a good inning for Blevins. Giants are on 1-2-3. Mets 8-game winning streak on the line as they come to bat in the bottom of the 9th. Is New York becoming a Mets town again? Get an inside look at the team's rise to the top and the pressures that come with it on Mets Insider, presented by W.B. Mason, today after the postgame, only on SNY. SNY's Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
This is the biggest town in the world. There's enough room for two teams. As Santiago Casilla comes in. You know, he started the 2014 season as a setup man for Sergio Romo. Ended up being the closer that season with 19 saves at 38 last year, and still the closer at 35 years old. 2
blown saves this year. He comes into a non-save situation with a 5-run lead. Top of the order, Juan Lagares leads off and takes ball 1. Lagares has had another good day with the bat. 2 for 4, a single and a double. A single to left and a double to right that started as a triple, and they got downgraded. David Wright on deck, Michael Conforto behind him. Mets have out hit the Giants today 10-8, but Madison Bumgarner was able to scatter 6 hits and 3 walks over 6 innings and keep the Mets off the board, and the Mets have had threats against the Giants bullpen but have only scraped together 1 run. Slider misses down. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, that was impressive by Bumgarner, facing this Mets team that was red hot and might not have had his A game, but it doesn't matter for him. He just guts it out and competes his you-know-what off.
He was still an A pitcher. In tight to Lagares, 3-1. Casilla, the 6th Giants pitcher of the day. And Lagares takes it high, ball 4. So for the 3rd straight inning against the Giants bullpen, the Mets get the leadoff man on, and they're not going away quietly. So now David Wright, who's been on base the last 3 times up, a walk and 2 singles. He drove in the lone net run with a 7th inning single.
Casilla is one of those guys that fights himself. He can get hot out there sometime and be his own worst enemy. Good sinker, good slider.
Right at the plate, Conforto and Cespedes behind him. And David, first pitch swinging, flies one to shallow left. In comes Blanco to grab it. 1 away. So Wright is retired. And now Conforto gets to face a right-hand pitcher for the first time today.
He's got a rare 0 for working so far this afternoon.
Went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts against Bumgarner. Then they brought Javier Lopez, the lefty, in to face him in the 7th, and he got him on a first pitch fly ball. Conforto's been on base 17 straight games, so that's in jeopardy here. Lagares at first and 1 out. Does he have that many pitches?
I've seen a lot of these relief pitchers shaking off Buster Posey. I don't get it. I mean, if anyone knows the National League, it's Buster.
And Casilla misses with the sinker, ball 1. Santiago Casilla, now 35 years old, started his career on the other side of the Bay, pitching for Oakland. He has only known the Bay Area as a big leaguer over 13 seasons. And a borderline strike, 1-1. Cespedes next. And Conforto goes after the breaking ball, 1-2.
Slider from Casilla, back door.
1-2 coming to Conforto. And he tries to hold, but he went around on the back foot breaking ball. And that's the second out.
That was nasty by Casilla. Good arm action. Ball almost hits Conforto in the foot. And I think the right call by Culpa.
So the Mets are down to their final out of the afternoon. Yoenis Cespedes coming up. Cespedes 1 for 3, a double and a walk. Let's have the Braves coming in tomorrow night for 3 before they head to the West Coast for the first time this season. An 11-game road trip that starts Thursday in San Diego. They missed the Giants this time around. They get San Diego, LA, and Colorado. Lagares takes off. Cespedes takes a hack and looked like he wound up in a little pain there.
And like he collapsed on that front leg.
They give Lagares second on defensive indifference. Cespedes fouled the ball off his left leg earlier in the game.
Oh, his back foot kind of gave way.
Looks like he's fine. A little battered and bruised, but none the worse. And now Casilla has him in a 2-strike hole. It's been a rainy, chilly afternoon here at Citi Field. Most of the crowd of better than 39,000 has headed to warmer climes. Those who have stuck it out, we love you. 0-2 to Cespedes. And he rolls one to shortstop. Crawford's got it. And that'll do it. The Mets' 8-game winning streak comes to an end. Madison Bumgarner 6 scoreless innings. Hunter Pence a homer and 3 RBIs. And the Giants win today 6-1.
Well, this pitching matchup, the Giants got on the board first with a 3-run 4th inning, and that was it. Bumgarner was outstanding over 6 innings. Bullpen good enough for the Giants, as they only gave up a run to a hot offensive team in the Mets.
Mets left 12 runners on base today, managed 1 run on 10 hits. As Bumgarner beats the Mets again. He's now 4-0 lifetime against New York, and his Citi Field ERA down to 0.62. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Geico. Over 75 years of savings and service. By Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer and test drive the all-new RAV4 Hybrid today. Toyota, let's go places. By the Better Network Verizon. Better matters. By the New York Lottery. Take a break from the expected. Play scratch-off games from the New York Lottery. And by Affinity Health Plan, serving the health care needs of New Yorkers for more than 30 years. Final score this afternoon, the Giants 6 and the Mets 1. Tomorrow night, the Braves come in for the first of 3. Bartolo Colon on the mound for the Mets. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow night right here on SNY. Now for Ron Darling, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason Postgame Live. Let's join Doug Williams and Nelson Figueroa. Guys?